pretty compellingly.
She was also the congressman, though. Everybody knew, or wasn't she in the Senate or the Congress?
Yeah, but here's the key.
But people knew her.
You know what how she's going to vote.
Well, that's true.
That's not what the Virginians have been showing they want it with Youngkin.
Maybe all the people moving out.
I have no idea. All I know is that when I heard that she had won.
Maybe nobody voted in the midterms.
I was really disappointed.
I hope that people show up to this election.
Well, they got to show up in November. If you don't show up in November, a lot of the things that the president was talking about last night are going to come to a stop. They won't be able to turn it around unless they win the White House. But they're going to do their damnedest to put a stop to the president's programs, and we don't need that in Congress.
It was pretty despicable last night, though, when the Democrats wouldn't stand.
When the president said,
I got it if you want me to play it.
Everybody should. Okay, go ahead and play it. Here you go.
So tonight I'm inviting every legislature to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Not a Democrat stood
Not
up.
One Democrat stood up.
Yeah, none of
and
them
they
stood
should
up.
be removed from office. That's my opinion.
Here's the key. The Republicans have raised more money for this election than any election in the history of the Republican Party. I would make a great ad out of that and just cover the networks with it.
Not one Democrat, Dave.
Yeah.
And I've said this for years. That's the only reason we exist as a union, is to protect American citizens.
Yeah. Well,
it's not to tax. It's not to food stamps. It's not none of that stuff.
Nope. No.
It's to protect us.
The Constitution, which protects the American citizen.
And they stayed seated.
Yep.
Because he said, if you agree with me, stand up.
Yeah.
And they stayed seated.
Yeah, they can't even agree with him on a overriding principle.
It's disgusting.
For
how are they even in? They need to be removed. And then Elon Omar, or whatever her name is, stands up shouting at him. She was one shouting at him.
Yeah. Well, what was
during that?
Do we know what she said?
I don't know what she said. I couldn't understand what she was saying, but it was her. She stood up and shouted at him.
Is she shouting Somali? Is that
probably?
She's the one that has the Somali flag outside her office. All right. She said after the presidential elections that her goal was to protect the Somali people.
You know what? You don't get to come to our country, and you don't get to come to our country.
Well, you shouldn't
and change it to the way your crap hole country is that you left.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. I agree.
Take all of our money and give it to all your people.
If it was so great, why aren't you there?
Because they don't have any money to steal.
Why aren't you there, Omar?
It makes me so mad. I'm just so mad.
The way it goes. Anyway, I thought for the part of the speech that I watched, and I watched the first hour, I know, I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
And here's what I thought was really good, is that the president not only gave a good speech, but his theatrics, his stagecraft, per se, was very good as well. I mean, he put faces to his followers.
And he also said, I can't believe you didn't stand for that.
Well, yeah.
He literally called him out right there. I loved it.
That's what you got to do. You have got to do that. And, I keep thinking that somewhere in the Democratic Party, there's vestiges of the old Democratic Party that was patriotic.
Some of them stood during some things he said.
Yeah, but
how do you not stand whenever he's talking about like
protecting the American people?
The crime is down. How do you not stand for that? Like,
what's
wrong with you people? That's like last time when they didn't stand for that little kid that had cancer.
They're putting the people in jail to vote for them. They're putting the criminals in jail. Anyway, I think most people. Our phone lines are fixed, by the way. If you want to call in, you can 501-401-1011.
Dave, tongue tied.
Yeah, well, I get mixed up using all the ones. But because once you get to 501, now you got to go.
You got to count.
1011. Yeah, make sure you got it right. We need to get a phone number like they got. Which one of the lawyers' offices is like? Just call 7777777.
I don't know who that is.
Then if you dial 15 sevens, you're for sure going to get it.
Yeah, when you're dying on the side of the road.
Yeah, that whole thing. So anyway, 501 401 1011. That's the number. Call in and tell me what you thought of the president's State of the Union address. There's a lot of you that are driving into work.
They're dodging traffic this morning.
Yeah, well, it was thick today.
Mm-hmm.
It was thick. It's a Wednesday. It's hump day.
I had to cut off
middle
a bus.
Of the weekday.
I'm kidding.
I'm
kidding.
A school bus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm always racing it.
Yeah.
It's at the stop sign down the street, and I can see it, and I'm like, oh, God, I'm not going to get stuck behind that school bus.
Speaking of somebody racing you, yesterday I was going home, and look, I don't drive slow. I'm always driving over the speed limit. Typically, when I'm going down, 430, and I'm heading down 430. I'm usually doing about 75. Speed limit 60.
Yeah, but you're keeping with the flow of traffic.
Yeah, and I was in the passing lane because I was passing someone, and there was a guy. It looked like he was in a white Bronco. I know Simpson's dead. So
I was going to say, was it OJ?
I know it's not OJ, and I know it wasn't his buddy. So anyway, this guy comes whipping around me after I get past this car that I'm passing, and I'm getting ready to pull over and let him go by. He's rolling down his window and flipping me the bird.
See, people don't understand that ain't your lane. It's a passing lane still.
Yeah.
It's a fast lane, but it's still a passing lane. You don't pass on the left. You pass on the right.
It really amazed me because it's not like I slowed him down at all.
Right.
He was going way over the speed limit. So I got out of his way, and he's flipping me the bird. I sped up and caught up with him. He got off. He swung across three lanes of traffic.
He's like, oh, this guy's going to pull out a gun.
No. He went, oh, my God, that's Dave Ellswick. I know Dave Ellswick's got a gun in his car. Yeah, so
Davey's got a gun.
No, I wasn't going to use I wouldn't.
We're going to make a new parody.
I didn't even reach for it. I didn't even reach for it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you have a gun, that doesn't mean you always have to reach for it. People don't understand that. I have on a couple occasions had to pull my gun.
I understand this guy was proud and he was flashing his IQ at me, but what can I say? I just they kind of
you weren't driving in the fast lane. You were passing.
I was passing a car.
What gets on my nerves is when these people drive 55 miles an hour.
I can't drive 55.
Right?
Yeah.
Some Sammy. And they just stay there. No matter after they pass, they just sit in that lane, and I'm just like, and then I have to go around them, and that's what causes an accident. You're not supposed to pass on the left.
Well, I've always said that if you're going below the speed limit, you're asking to cause a wreck.
Yeah, but they don't pull these people over. I get pulled over for speeding.
Yeah,
but these fools don't get pulled over for driving in the fast lane.
I've never had.
It's a law, regardless, right? A law is a law is a law.
A state policeman passed me to pull over somebody that's in the lane in front of me that's doing 45.
No, never.
On a road that you're not supposed to do under.
But a law is a law is a law, right?
Yeah.
So driving slow in the fast lane is still breaking the law. The ticket must not be as much.
And the old adage of slowing down to be more careful doesn't apply when the rules of driving. If I was a cop, I would not stop someone doing 100 miles an hour if they're in no traffic. Yeah,
if there's nothing, no other car around, they're just flying by.
Ahead, I don't care.
Say it's like midnight.
Unless the chief told me before I went out on my patrol, Ellswick, we need some extra money.
Yeah, and that's why they do it.
Give us many tickets as you can today. Right. So maybe I would do that. Probably not.
I don't know. I just think it just makes no sense to me that I think, here's my thing. I think we should be able to have a speeding license Are you listening, Mayor? You seem to like the drag racing through town anyway.
Yeah, they do.
But I think we should have a opportunity to purchase a speeding license. Like an unlimited, free-for-all, as long as you take a course showing that you know how to drive fast. You know what I mean? And you have to take a test. I think you should be able, there should be like, how much money could you make off of that? Come on now. How many people would pay for that?
I think you should be able to drive whatever speed as long as you are not a hazard.
Isn't that crazy how Germany is allowed to drive as fast, but we're supposed to be the freest country in the world?
At one time, that's the way it was in Wyoming.
Really?
In Montana, yeah, because
nobody out there.
There's a lot of area to cover to get from one city to the next, and I was up in Wyoming visiting my daughter's parents once, and I mean I'm doing 90 miles an hour out on the freeway, and everybody's passing me. I mean, boom, right past me. And I understand now, since I've been there, they have instituted a 95 mile per hour speed limit.
Why can't we have nice things?
Yeah,
because we have stupid people that know how to drive.
Well, I'll tell you what. At least when you're driving on our super highways, you can do 75.
Yeah.
Once you hit Oklahoma, it drops to 70. You know, they drop to 70.
Same with Florida.
No more. More cars or less cars or anything. It's just that they don't want you to go over 70.
Louisiana and Florida. Texas keeps theirs up.
Yeah, they're basically 75 on the.
I always like when I get to like Pine Bluff when I'm coming from Florida, because it's 75, and that means 85. So.
But
I'm saying nobody's in a hurry to get to Pine Bluff from here.
Nobody is driving haphazardly, then what's the big problem?
Right. It's the fools that drive slow that cause the most accidents statistically.
The person who's out on the road doing 40 miles an hour on an interstate, and my wife always gets mad when I see this. She says, well, maybe they get scared when they got to drive fast.
Driving.
And I just said, take the access road.
You shouldn't be driving if you're scared.
Just take the access road. That's all you got to do.
Scared driving is dangerous driving.
I don't know why you're going that slow, but you're dangerous. All right, 21 minutes after 7. Let's get a break. We've got Congressman Westerman coming up after Bill O'Reilly at the bottom of the hour. So that's what's ahead of us here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Strange noise. No matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Health insurance can be really confusing, but I know somebody who can help you. Tammy Chase owns an independent insurance agency in Maumelle, and she actually takes the time to sit down with you in person and explain everything in plain English. Tammy Chase handles it all. She works with multiple insurance companies, so you're not limited to just one option. Tammy Chase finds what works for your situation and budget. She can help you sign up for Medicaid, too. But here's what really sets Tammy Chase apart. She doesn't just sign you up and then disappear. Tammy and her team are there for you from start to finish. When enrollment periods come up, she helps you review and make changes, even with specialized plans like cancer, heart attack, and stroke coverage. If you're tired of feeling confused about insurance, visit TammyChaseInsurance.com. Trust me, having someone local who actually cares makes all the difference in the world. TammyChaseInsurance.com.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We should see some periods of sunshine today, but mainly cloudy overall. High of 70. Clouds again tonight and 54. And then a cloudy day tomorrow and a high of only 67.
The Dave Ellswick Show is back. 101.1 The Answer.
Hard for me to believe that we will be out of February on Friday.
And I'll be 52 years old.
And then we'll be into March. And March either comes in, like a lamb or, maybe goes out like a
wrecking
lion.
ball.
We'll have to find out. We'll see. Right now, looking ahead at our forecast, today, high of 67, low of 53, and we don't get under the high 60s until next Tuesday.
Yay.
We get rain next Tuesday and Wednesday, and then rain Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So
oh, my gosh.
Our whole weekend will be rained out. But the temperature is moderating out now. I mean, from now on, no more 50s on the calendar. Well, I'm going to take that back. March the 22nd, 23rd, they're saying we'll be at 58. But who wants to bet with me it's going to be a sunny day that it won't be like 64.
Right.
Yay. The way that it does.
I'm ready for spring.
I am ready for spring as well. I noticed that the bushes and some of the trees are budding up.
That's what I'm not ready for.
And that's my allergies.
Yeah.
It's my allergy season. I know that the Bradford pears are starting to bloom, and because I've been sneezing my head off, I'm allergic to them. I know when they start throwing those white flowers up that stink, and you go by them, they stink. I'm gonna have problems with my allergies. The oak trees, when they start, really,
that Zyrtec kicks its blue.
That's when your car, you come out and you get that yellow green stuff all over it.
Or blowing across the road like a Western movie.
Yeah, if you're parked in your driveway, I park my car in the garage. That's one thing I do. I love having a garage. My dad never had a garage when he was growing up, and I remember how cold that old iron heap was that he drove. And he'd take you to school, which was nice. I didn't have to walk, and it was like 10 below zero or something, and the wind was blowing. But you sat.
You mean you didn't walk 10 miles to school?
No.
That's what my grandpa did.
And it wasn't uphill both ways.
Uphill with potatoes in my hand.
But
hot potatoes.
I'm just saying, it was what's really unbelievable that you'd ride in the back seat and you'd shiver all ready to school, and by the time you pulled in front of the school to get out to
the heater was working.
The car was starting to produce some heat, because that's when the engines were made out of iron.
One year,
it took forever to get warm.
When my kids were in high school, after the meltdown, after the mortgage meltdown, I lost my job and everything. I had a car and the heater went out on it. We went all winter without a heater in that car, and I took the kids to school, and so yeah, people are like, people don't have no clue what I've been through in life.
And people, if people, they don't know what kind of car I drove before I got my Charger. I had a Delta 88, which is a small boat. Okay. And I didn't have heat in that car.
Yeah.
And I drove home from college one weekend because my mom had asked me to come home, and I did. And it was cold out. I mean, it was below zero when I left from Kentucky. And so it was getting progressively colder as I went up towards Chicago. I lived right outside of Chicago. And I got to tell you, I got frostbitten on my fingers riding in a car.
Yeah. We had to bundle up. I didn't have $600 to fix the heater core.
No, I didn't either.
It was either that or groceries. And I was like, we got to eat. So this is what we have to do.
That's really a really bad combo or thing that people have in common, and that is you got to eat.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not gonna drive around a warm car while my kids are starving because I had to fix that car.
I understand.
We're gonna eat, and we're gonna suffer with a cold car.
Give them a warm meal, and then say, you're going to be cold as you walk to school today.
It'll only be for a couple of months.
That's the way it goes. It's just going to be that way.
They would have rather rode in the car than to walked anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
7:28 on a Wednesday. It's hump day, middle of the weekday, over the hill day, closer to Friday than it was on Monday. We've got a good show for you today.
And Jabe's styling in his
my black
jersey over there.
You
can see him online.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So you can see. I think the Blackhawks jerseys are the coolest jerseys in the National Hockey League. So anyway, I got that I've been wanting one since I was in my 20s. But they're expensive. Do you know how much one of these jerseys cost?
Really?
It's over $100.
Really?
Yeah.
See, we're cheap. We're cheapos over here.
The only way I got it was as a present.
Right.
I wasn't going to pay for.
And it wasn't like, wife, it's closed. You're like, yeah.
My wife bought it for Christmas, so I guess I did pay for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one who works in the household. Anyway, I loved the jersey, and then it makes me think of some of the great Blackhawks that I used to love on the hockey team: Bobby Hull, and Keith Magnuson, Stan Mikita. Those names all come to mind. Stan Mikita was the reason you see a lot of hockey players wearing helmets, because he was high-sticked by somebody on the Boston Maroons. I don't know who it was, but it used to be that they hooked the goalie net into the ice. It didn't move, and they pushed him right into it, and he split his head open on the goalie's net. All right, we'll take a break, and we'll be back in a moment.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, hey, Bill O'Reilly here, stuck in a timeshare you don't want? Lone Star Transfer can help. With an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau, thousands of 5-star reviews, they are the only ones I trust. They will provide you with a guaranteed solution to exit your timeshare. Please call Lone Star Transfer, 844-284-4861, or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. On this Wednesday, California Governor Gavin Newsom has a book out, so he's running around giving interviews, trying to market it. For a guy like Newsom who has enemies, this is not an easy thing. Speaking to a black interviewer in Atlanta, Newsom tried to make the point that he was no genius as a kid. He pointed to his low SAT scores, saying they indicate that he is, quote, just like you. Uh-oh. Because the show host is black, the governor was immediately accused of being racist, a cheap insult usually made against conservatives by liberals. But this time, it was vice versa. The R word, often used to demonize its target, perhaps cancel a person. Obviously, the ultra-liberal Newsom does not want to insult black Americans. His intent was to portray himself as a regular guy who eventually made it. Doesn't matter. Newsom was pounded. There are far better ways to dissent from Governor Newsom's agenda than to tag him with a dishonest label. His record in California is certainly up for scrutiny. But peddling hatred is much easier than honest analysis, as Gavin Newsom has learned the hard way. Back in a moment. More Americans are switching to all-family pharmacy because getting medication should not depend on your insurance company telling you no. If you already know what works for you and want real medical freedom, you have to choose the right pharmacy. All Family Pharmacy handles everything, including the doctor's prescription, ships right to your door. So please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/bill, use code BILL10, save 10% on your next order. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. For more news and honest analysis, please go to BillO'Reilly.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
In his new movie, The Dragon's Prophecy, Dinesh D'Souza brings the new Middle East into focus.
Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
At long last, we have peace in the Middle East.
Israel and Christians are coming together in a way they have never been before.
But is this the end of Hamas and radical Islam? The Dragon's Prophecy is powerful, prophetic, a must-see movie. Now available on Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes. America is at a tipping point. To ensure we stay the land of the free and home of the brave, you need to be informed and engaged. That's why we're here. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. The conservative voice of Arkansas. The Dave Ellswick Show on 101.1 The Answer.
They've got a nice meme about Newsom today.
Oh, man.
And it's on they got like a poster that they're running. You know, he's running for president. It says, MUGA, most useless governor in America.
I can't read gooder.
Yeah. Highest gas prices, electric bills, housing costs, homelessness, bureaucracy. And he's giving a thumbs up. I would laugh uncontrollably, but that's the Democratic Party.
It's sad that these people follow. Like, I get it. I used to be a Democrat because I thought healthcare should be free. But after I got a little older, I started realizing, why should people pay for my healthcare if I smoke, if I drink, if I buy lottery tickets, if I happen to do drugs? Why should everyone, or if I happen to overeat, why should everyone else have to pay for my health care? And I'm just saying mine in general, I'm not saying like I do drugs or, all that stuff. I'm just saying, like, as you get older, you start seeing things in a different way. And if you don't, well, then you're pandering like these Democrats are to the left, or you're brainwashed.
Newsom is the worst at it.
Or you're just brainwashed.
Since Clinton is not, and Hillary is who I'm speaking of, since Hillary isn't running for president, Newsom is the worst panderer on the campaign trail, no doubt about it. They got another meme that was just sent and just lit up on my Facebook. It says, liberal playbook, promise everything, deliver nothing, blame someone else.
Yeah, and say I'm
and that's the truth.
Retarded like you.
That's the truth. Yeah, well, he said, hey, I'm illiterate and retarded just like you black folks. I mean, that's what he said the other day.
TMZ was saying he wasn't saying that they were retarded. I was like, what do you call it? What was he saying then?
They want a really nice word.
Yeah.
Like,
because I'm a lawyer.
They're educationally disadvantaged or something like that. Who knows? Anyway, it's wild. And none of it's true. That is the pandering of the Democratic Party with their soft racism. That's what they are. They won't call you stupid. They'll just insinuate it every which way they can.
Did you see Rashida Tlaib? She had a F and the word spelled out F ice pin at the State of the Union address on television. These immigrants who came here, I'm sorry. They're ruining our country.
That's what the Democrats are doing now. Have you noticed how much we're cursing all the time?
Oh, yeah.
And the reason to do that, they think that that's what you who are listening to this show and conservatives and liberals, they think that proves that they're cool. That went out when I was in high school. It really did. I mean, kids would cuss when I was in high school in the locker room and stuff to prove that they were a man. And all it did was it proves that you're ignorant because you can't come up with any other word in the vernacular of the English language.
It's crazy that you see these foreign people have come over here and trying to
make our country like the country they left.
Well, and it's disgusting because they don't understand our laws and Constitution. They don't understand why they're there. Like, I don't understand how these people stay in office.
Well,
they didn't even stand for Iriana Zarutuska, the 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee, the one that was slashed, her throat was slashed on the subway.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't even stand for her mother.
Of course not.
That woman came here from Ukraine.
But here's the key, though. To stand is to show that you think what is happening to the people of this country when they're attacked in the subway and have their throat slit or whatever, shot,
it's disgraceful,
raped, whatever, that you're against it. And that's not what the Democrats are against. The Democrats are for anything that will get them elected.
I mean, this poor girl came here seeking safety and a new life.
Yeah.
And her mother came here. Her mother was in tears. Well, I don't know if you saw that part, but her mom was in tears, and I saw it, and it really, it just made me so angry that Democrats would stand up for something else later on in the speech, but they did not stand up for that.
Yeah. No, they didn't stand up for most of anything. The only thing that I think they stood up for was that Pelosi made a lot of money on inside trader stuff. Didn't they all stand up and clap that?
And then, I don't know. I'm just so mad about all of it.
And I could do a whole half hour of what are all the black Democrats wearing white for?
Well, and then Al Green, he was escorted from the chamber at the beginning.
Because you know why? He had
he had a sign that said, black people aren't apes.
Yep. And he
was not saying they're like that. They're so stupid.
Well, if you remember during the last year, when the president, it wasn't a State of the Union address because he had just been in office for a few days. But Green sat there and stood with his cane and shaking his cane at the president and yelling at him. And they removed him from the inside the House. They removed him from the floor.
Last year, yeah, I remember that one.
I just wish that all the seats that were open on the floor, that the president would have put in just normal Americans.
Yeah.
And let them sit there.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
But just the disrespect from Democrats. They don't respect the Constitution. They don't respect their country. They don't respect their job of protecting Americans.
They do not respect Americans.
It's disgusting.
Their fellow Americans, they don't, of course, respect them either. It's just, and I'm not painting with a broad brush. That is the majority of the Democratic Party now. And they believe in using violence. They're
Oh, they did all stand for that when Trump said violence of any kind against political.
Is that Westerman calling?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll let you get a hold of him and get him ready to go, and we'll get him up and talk to him. He had to give a speech this morning at a breakfast. He did that, and then he hustled himself back to his office so he could get a landline and take care of everything as far as that was concerned. When I go get my head shaved on Friday, I'm going to have him trim my beard. I'm looking at my beard on the video. Sorry, don't mean my mustache to look that way. I don't use mustache gel and twill to a point. I don't want to look like Dastardly Dan from Dudley Do-Right or anything like that. All right, 7:43. Let's talk to the congressman. He's joined us on the phone. Congressman, what kind of grade do you give the president on this State of the Union?
Well, I I give him a high grade on it because I think he was able to articulate a lot of the good things that he's done and that we've worked with him to do, and to remind Americans that what they're seeing put out by the Democrats and the mainstream media, which oftentimes are the same thing, is not all true. So I was really glad that he talked about the secure border, that he talked about how energy prices are lower and going down, how people are going to get bigger tax returns and tax refunds than they've had, and how he's working hard and doing things that are actually making things more affordable as inflation decreases. And we're even seeing home mortgages lower. It's a stark contrast from where we were before he came into office, and everything was moving rapidly in the other direction. So I think that's the message that he has to keep on. And then, reminding people of how crazy some of these leftist ideas are on transgender and those kinds of issues. So, and the people he brought in and recognized, those were some kind of moving moments when he recognized them. So I give him a high grade. What do you think, Dave?
I gave him an A. I thought it was done well. Not only was it done well, he showed people what's going on in the economy. It's getting better. I know it's getting better. Here. Let me give you an example of it's getting better. McDonald's, Wendy's, I'm trying to think of Hardee's, and there's one other fast food place, are all going back to their cheaper value meals. That tells you that the cost of products is going down and the economy is getting stronger.
Yeah. And I don't think President Trump tried to say that everything's great, but I think he did lay out a case for us all working together to lower prices even more and to get the economy moving even more and to focus on things that matter again, instead of all the nutty stuff we were having to focus on when in the previous administration. And I think he also gave a good message for the midterms. All of the work that we've done in the House and the Senate with the president to address these issues, there won't be any of that done if our colleagues across the aisle get back in control, because it's just going to be the same clown show that it was the last time they were in the majority with the president, or with President Trump in office.
They're crazy. I've thought it for a long time. I'm going to say it out loud. The majority of Democrats are crazy because they've gone socialist. They really have. They've bid into it, hook, line, and sinker. They've hooked themselves. They've swallowed the hook, and you can't get it out without tearing their throat out. It's exactly where they're at now. I'm not hearing them put forth any kind of new policies or anything like that to help the American public. In fact, they couldn't even stand up when the president said, would you agree with me and my administration that the best thing that legislators can do is do things that are good for the American people? They wouldn't even stand for that. That tells you where they're at.
And he just sat there and looked at them for what seemed like a long, long time, giving them an opportunity. I will say Fetterman was standing up quite a bit over there. I don't know if he stood up on that one. But
was he wearing shorts?
No, he was not wearing shorts this time. He was, because I trying to figure out who is that guy, and I finally realized it was Senator Fetterman over there standing up.
Hey,
but I think the president laid the case out for, you want to keep on the path of making things better, or do you want to go back to where we're focusing on all these crazy ideas that aren't going to do anything good for our country? And I'll also say there are Democrats that I can work with. It's the far left part of their party that's just, there's no chance to work with them on anything because their ideas are so socialist and so far out there that I honestly can't think of any kind of issue that you can work together with them.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are directing the Democrat Party.
All right, we need to get our break in. Let's do that, Congressman, and then we'll come back and finish up our conversation. We're talking to Congressman Bruce Westerman. Who did you give the speech to this morning?
It was the American Public Power Association. They actually recognized me for some work that I've been doing that's going to help us produce more energy and make it more reliable and affordable. So it was an early morning start, but it was a fun way to start the day.
Did they serve you biscuits and gravy?
No, I got there. I think they'd already eaten the biscuits and gravy.
Oh, okay.
I had a few sips of coffee and gave a speech and got an award and hopped back in the vehicle.
I tell you, I've never been to a Washington luncheon or breakfast where they've had biscuits and gravy on the table.
No, it's all fruit and bagels.
They got yeah, that's true. There's a lot, and what is it? Philadelphia cream cheese. That's on there as well. All right, we'll get back to the congressman in a moment. I want to talk to him if he's hearing what Thune is going to do about the SAVE Act. We'll talk about that in a moment on the Dave Ellswick Show.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We should see some periods of sunshine today, but mainly cloudy overall. High of 70. Clouds again tonight and 54. And then a cloudy day tomorrow and a high of only 67.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
We bring you the biggest news stories of the day. Not to tell you what to think, but to allow you to have the most information so you can make up your mind. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. The Dave Ellswick Show continues now. 101.1 The Answer.
All right, got 8 minutes until the top of the hour, so we got about 7.5 minutes that we can talk to Congressman Westerman. He was there for the State of the Union address last night. Are you hearing anything about what the Senate Majority Leader is going to do about the SAVE Act? He hasn't brought it up for a vote yet. What's going on over there that you know about, Congressman?
He's probably going to they're probably going to have to change the cloture rule before he can bring it up for a vote, because I don't think the Democrats are ever going to agree to let the bill go to the floor under the current rule. And you saw the response last night when President Trump talked about the SAVE Act. which I've talked to lots of people that have polled this, and it polls, among all Americans, like high 80s to 90%.
Yeah, it's way up there.
Voter ID. Yeah, so it'll be a real shame if the Senate doesn't figure out how to get everybody on record on voting on the SAVE Act. And unfortunately, because the way the Senate cloture rule works, they have to agree to debate rather than having to defend the position, not to debate the bill. And that's the way it used to be. They used to have to take the floor and at least give a reason for not wanting to bring the bill up. But now they just don't agree to bring it up, and nobody ever gets on record on these issues.
Yeah, because I think that's a great issue for the election, if you ask me.
Yeah, and it's a great issue for the country. I mean, you remember when we did voter ID in the state, and the only thing it's done is made Arkansas's elections kind of the envy of the country.
Yeah,
because we have very high scores on the integrity of our elections, and plus we get election results in and reported very quickly. The state of Florida does a great job on running their elections as well. And I'm not even sure if they've got voter ID down there, but I think they do. But it's definitely not an impediment to people voting. Like any argument somebody puts up against voter ID, it falls very flat quickly.
Well, yeah, the whole thing about that they're trying to disenfranchise women is such a load of crap. It's unbelievable. They need a tractor trailer to be able to pull that bucket of manure around.
I told him I'd help him. I'd help you figure it out.
Put their hip boots on when they start talking about that. And, the SAVE Act is really simple. Is you got to show your ID to vote, and you got to prove your citizenship to get your ID.
Yeah, what a concept.
Yeah.
The new lie that they have, Dave, the new lie that they're spreading is that Trump will not give refunds to the American people for the tariffs. He can't do that. Don't y'all have to figure that out, Bruce, Congressman?
There's a lot of debate on that, and I think it would take a congressional act to do that.
And so they're like lying already, propaganda, like just lies.
Yeah, well, that's never stopped them in the past.
True.
You are exactly right, Congressman. That has not stopped them in the past. If they didn't lie about programs, they wouldn't know what to say about Social Security.
Yeah, it reminds me of the way they name their bills. If there's a bill that comes out that they named, you can almost take it to the bank that the bill does exactly the opposite of what the name on the bill is. Like the Affordable Care Act was probably the worst named bill in the history of our country, but they've had some others that were doozies as well.
No, the Affordable Care Act is neither affordable nor does it take care of Americans.
Yeah.
Neither one. It's ridiculous.
And, but 15 years later, we can look back and see that costs have done nothing but go up. Like there's no metric on healthcare that lowered costs or made care more available because of the so-called Affordable Care Act.
Just made insurance companies rich.
It is a red line going straight up. It's exactly right.
Yeah. Now, if you're an insurance company or a big conglomerate of hospitals or pharmaceutical companies, which they're all kind of in some instances joining together now. Now your profits are really, really high, so it made those industries very lucrative.
Oh yeah, make a lot of money off of it. Doctors aren't making as much money as they used to, but the hospitals do. I don't understand how a hospital in good conscience can stand in front of the American people and saying, if we don't have the ACA, we're going to go out of business. I don't get that when they're adding brand new wings to their hospitals and and hundreds of beds.
And 20% of our GDP gets spent on healthcare. The numbers just don't add up. And we have a shortage of doctors, and I've had many doctors tell me that it used to, a lot of doctors' children would go into the profession. A lot of them are telling their kids, don't go into this. This is not what it used to be. It's not worth the effort and all the bureaucracy that you have to deal with in healthcare anymore. So that's even more alarming because that's going to have detrimental long-term effects. You go to my district in rural Arkansas and all across rural America, it's very hard to get physicians to go to those areas. And it's not a good thing.
All right. We'll let you go, Congressman. We're out of time. Congratulations on your award that you got today. Wish you could have had some biscuits and gravy along with that sip of coffee, but have a good day and keep up the good work that you're doing there in Congress.
Well, thank you, Dave. Maybe I can find a cold biscuit somewhere this morning, but it's not going to be as good as what you get back home.
Maybe you find some chocolate gravy somewhere.
That's a stretch right there.
Yeah, I got you. All right, we'll let you go. Thank you very much. Congressman Bruce Westerman here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Find us at 1011FM, theanswer.com. Download our app, stream us 24/7, or watch us at snc.tv. KDXE, Kamek Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. The State of the Union is, in a word, strong. President Trump's assessment delivered in a marathon address last night to a joint session of Congress.
Tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
A turnaround for the economy, according to the president, and for the border, for international diplomacy, and for the war on crime here at home. Mr. Trump says he would prefer a diplomatic solution to the nuclear standoff with Iran, but he's not taking a military option off the table. In a feel-good moment, the president lauded America's newest Olympic heroes.
The gold medal-winning U.S. men's Olympic hockey team has visited President Donald Trump at the White House and later received about a 2-minute bipartisan standing ovation during his State of the Union address. Trump also announced that the women's hockey team, which also defeated Canada to win gold, will visit the White House. The women's team had declined an invitation to attend the State of the Union due to the timing of the address. Trump also said goalie Connor Hellebuck will receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger delivered the Democrat response to the president's speech. She accuses Mr. Trump of lying and claims that Trump economic policies are harming Americans. More than 3 weeks after Nancy Guthrie vanished from her home in Arizona, her children say they're holding out hope for a miracle that will bring their mother back home. They're also offering a $1 million reward for the 84-year-old woman's return. Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell. Dow futures up 140 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 114. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The U.S. dollar is under pressure, and some analysts are openly warning about the long-term stability of U.S. currency dominance. Whether you call it currency debasement or the collapse of the dollar, the risk is real. And when confidence in the U.S. dollar shifts, gold and silver historically respond. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 to get your free gold investment kit. You'll also receive a free copy of Ken Rogoff's book, Our Dollar, Your Problem. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000.
As America's #1 motorcycle insurer, Progressive has your back.
Like if I need a replacement part.
Sure, we can help with that.
Nice. Hey, I just entered this online contest for coolest bike in the world. You think maybe you can vote for me?
Actually, we just do insurance, not popularity contests.
Yeah, I know. But what's your email? I'll just send you the link real quick. You can vote like 100 times a day. They'll never know.
To be clear, Progressive has your back for insurance only. So get a quote and see if you can save.
So what I'm hearing is there's a little bit of wiggle room.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions.
Defense Secretary Hegseth is threatening Anthropic with the loss of a lucrative Pentagon contract if it denies the military broader access to its artificial intelligence technology.
Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei believes the more capable and autonomous AI becomes, the greater the potential for its misuse. He's repeatedly called for its regulation, and the company's focus has been on developing systems that won't cause harm. Anthropic was awarded a $200 million national security contract last July. But tensions have arisen over its refusal to lift restrictions, preventing its technology from being used to carry out domestic surveillance or to target weapons on the battlefield.
The BBC's David Willis. Visiting China, German Chancellor Merz calling for deepening ties between his country and China while pushing for fairer trade rules. News and analysis, townhall.com. A divided Supreme Court says Americans cannot sue the Postal Service even when an employee deliberately refuses to deliver the mail.
By a 5-4 vote, the justices ruled against a Texas landlord who alleged her mail was intentionally withheld for 2 years. The landlord is Black and claims racial prejudice played a role in the postal employee's actions. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote in his majority opinions that the federal law generally shields the Postal Service from lawsuits over missing, lost, and undelivered mail, includes the intentional non-delivery of mail. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The American consumer's confidence in the U.S. economy has improved just a bit this month after plunging in January. The Conference Board says its consumer confidence index rose to 91.2 in February, from an upwardly revised reading of 89 last month. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Whether retirement's just around the corner or already here, it's common to be overwhelmed. That's where Total Wealth with David Lucas can help. Utilizing their signature Thrive planning process, they'll work together with you to identify and resolve your concerns, allowing you to fully pursue your passions and enjoy life. Because a successful retirement isn't just how much you save. It's the quality of life you live. Schedule a free evaluation now at TotalWealth.com. While you're at the website, download the free guide to Social Security. It'll help answer a lot of your questions. Go to TotalWealth.com or call 501-382-8800. 501-382-8800. One more time, go to TotalWealth.com or call 501-382-8800. That's 501-382-8800. 501-382-8800. Go to TotalWealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Lucas Total Wealth, an Arkansas registered investment advisor. Arkansas Insurance License number 161522743.
All right, back with you. Second hour of the Dave Ellswick Show. When they're talking taxes on Capitol Hill, there's only one man that you should get on the air to talk about what's going on. And since the president gave his State of the Union address last night, the head of Americans for Tax Reform, and that, of course, is Grover Norquist. We got a hold of him and asked him if he'd join us today for a couple of segments. He said, "Of course, Dave. When are you coming back to my Wednesday meeting?" As soon as I can get back up in Washington, Grover, I promise I'll be there with you that one Wednesday morning. So tell me what's going on with ATO. What was your all's feelings about the president's State of the Union address?
Well, I think it was a little short, but otherwise it was pretty good. I kept going, there was more to say, but he did do, I think, a very good job of breaking through the establishment press's unwillingness to talk about the importance of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the tax reduction, and the permanent tax reduction that the Republicans passed and the president signed last July. It's important to remember what's in there because there were so many good things. First of all, everybody who pays taxes is paying lower rates. The highest income, lowest income, middle income, business income, all are paying lower rates because of that tax cut. if we hadn't passed the extension of that tax cut, and many of those tax cuts were going to disappear in 10 years, like around now, these were made permanent out into infinity. We haven't done that for tax cuts in a long time. Now, businesses and people can plan for the future without wondering, I wonder what the tax code is going to look like in 3 years or 10 years or 3 weeks. And so you saw everybody's rates came down. Everybody's rates came down. And not just some, everybody's. And the per-child tax credit was increased. The standard deduction, the amount of money that you and you individually and you and your spouse don't pay any taxes on, was increased and made permanent. You saw expensing, which is probably, in terms of economic growth, it's the least talked about, but it's the most important one. What it says is when a business decides to spend money to buy a better truck for you to work with, a better computer system, refurbishes a restaurant so that more people want to come. When they invest in stuff, in machinery, in the kitchen for a restaurant, they don't pay taxes on that money that they spend. So they don't have it. Okay. We used to say, okay, well, you can depreciate it over 10 years or 20 years. Now, the year you spend it, you don't pay taxes on it. You deduct that from your taxable income because it's not there. Now, you hope, because you're making all your workers more productive, that you'll be earning more money and you'll be paying more taxes on future income. But they don't tax the investment. And we're seeing trillions of dollars being invested into the United States, and not just from overseas. The president loves to talk about all the money that comes from overseas. That's nice. The real money in the world's here. I want people investing American money in the United States, not frittering away or giving it to the government. I want it invested in job creating, productivity increasing, wage increasing stuff. That's huge. No tax on tips. Okay, the first $25,000 of whether it's somebody who paints your fingernails or works at a restaurant or drives a cab or an Uber or a Lyft, any of these, all the gig economy guys, there are more than 15 million independent contractors. Many of them work to a large extent on tips, and the unions are trying to kill tipping. That's why they hate the idea of tax-free tips. You wonder, I thought the unions, the left wing, I thought the Democrats were supposed to care about working people. No, okay? Because the unions want to kill tips. Why is that? Because if you go into a restaurant and the bartenders who work harder get bigger tips, and the waitresses and waiters that are faster and better and more pleasant, they get better tips. They know who they are. A union comes in and says, everybody gets paid the same amount. The guy who takes life seriously, the person who doesn't, the person who's good at their job, the person who's if you put in 1 hour by one guy is worth an hour. No, it's not. And people don't like to be treated like they're a machine. And unions can only do at one size fits all.
And Grover, this is Val. Sorry, but I was a waitress for a long time before I finished college. And we don't like sharing tips either because, I do a better job sometimes than other people did, and then that, to me, that's the same kind of thing as the union coming in. And I was disgusted when Democrats didn't stand up last night for the no tax on tips. These are the working people.
The union's bosses won't let them.
This is disgusting.
That's kind of interesting because a lot of the unions got behind Trump in the last electoral election for president. They got behind him, and now they're not behind him again. That makes no sense to me.
Well, a lot of union members voted for Trump, okay? That's not the same thing as the union bosses who write the checks and do the endorsements. The union leadership is very left-wing, and they get involved in funding everything from pro-abortion stuff to, the left-wing demonstrations and whatnot. But the union members, they work for a living. Of course they care about taxes. Union bosses make their money based on taking money from the workers.
I got to tell you, from the State of the Union, when the president said, I think you would agree with me and my administration that the reason that, legislatures are here is to do better for the American people,
protect them,
and not for illegals. And would you stand up if you believe in that? And no Democrat stood up. With the extra money that the Republican Party is raising right now, they should buy a big run on ads on television and do a really just knockout, kind of a Willie Horton commercial that we had with Bush.
Yes, I watched it on CNN, and it was interesting to see they would pan very quickly over the Democrats not standing or applauding.
Yeah.
Whatever. But they never, they do this little color commentary when they want to. Here's the president picking his nose or something, and they go, "Oh, be sure you didn't miss that."
Yeah.
Nonsense. But they never said, and this is the Democrat side. I mean, I knew because, I've been there and I know which side the Democrats are on, which side the Republicans are on. But if they just do it quickly, it was as if they were trying to cover for the Democrats.
Well, they are covering for the Democrats.
Yeah.
CNN has done it for years.
That's a joke.
Yeah, okay.
It is as if.
I miss your dry humor.
I agree with you.
One thing I didn't see last night, I saw this morning that the Daily Caller pointed out that Rashida Tlaib having that F ICE pin on her shirt. Wasn't this televised? CBS, NBC, this is always on television, right? Like, you can't even say that word on television. Like, how's she allowed to wear that pin? Like, into the people's house. That disgusted me.
I did not. I saw some shots of her, but not close enough to tell what the pin's
I didn't either. But it's very big pin though.
All right, if you just joined us, Grover Norquist is with us, Americans for revamping the taxation here in this country. And I believe, as Grover believes, the only good tax is a non-existent tax. And we'll talk further with him. We got another segment with him. Let's get our break in right now, and then we'll come back. Grover, hang around, fill up a coffee cup. We'll be back in a moment here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Nick Brani. Appointed to the court by Governor Sarah Sanders, Justice Brani believes in the rule of law and the Constitution, and his conservative record proves it. He has protected religious liberty, the Second Amendment, and girls' sports. He also upheld Arkansas's voter ID law. He does not legislate from the bench. He only interprets the law. Call Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Brani and thank him for defending our Constitution. Paid for by New Generation, Inc.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare? Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-894-3737. That's 800-894-3737. 800-894-3737.
Did you hear Congressman Bruce Westerman on the Dave Ellswick Show?
It's a whole different scenario when you're talking about Russia with the nuclear arsenal and the military that they have, but I think their economy's in shambles as well, especially since some of these European countries are trying to wean themselves off of Russian energy, and that's really where Russia generates most of their revenue. Now, I believe they're redirecting that energy into China, and you're just seeing the world market in oil and gas shifting around from one place to the other. That's a lot easier to do with oil than it is with gas because they've got all those gas pipelines going into Eastern Europe, and gas is much harder to transport if you're not going through the gas
Don't
line.
miss Congressman Bruce Westerman, Wednesday mornings on 101.1. The Answer. You can watch the show right now The Dave Ellswick Show is streaming live on Facebook. This is 101.1, The Answer.
All right, back with you. Grover Norquist is our guest. Grover joins us a couple of times a year to talk about tax policy. Grover, when we look at the big, beautiful bill and it's getting it passed and taking care of it and supporting the tax cuts that had already had happened and protecting against the Democrats raising taxes by about 35%. The American people are going to come. This is going to come home to roost with Americans because they're going to notice those checks that they're getting from the federal government from when they fill out their taxes, are they not?
Yes, the IRS has actually announced that they are surprised. They think that the refund checks are going to be much higher this year than in the past, about 11, 12% higher. More than the $100 billion will be coming back to people who overpaid. And they overpaid because they didn't understand or their tax accountant didn't understand how big these tax cuts were. And so they had more money withheld than they needed to. And so people around, as the checks come back out, are going to be pleasantly surprised that they're going to get bigger refund checks. Not everybody. If you correctly reduce your tax payments early on and do so for next year, you don't want to make loans to the government for free. But that is just a sign of how significant and how many different tax reductions there were that not everybody noticed that they'd be paying lower taxes and adjusted their withholding. So this is good news, and it'll help the economy.
Yeah, and I think that it will wake the American people up to what the Republicans have done. Republicans have done a lot of good things over the last couple of years. They really, really have. And they're trying to support President Trump. What do you think Thune's going to do here in the next few weeks dealing with the SAVE Act? Is he going to go to the mats on this?
That's a good question. There are two very important competing thoughts. One is the filibuster is why we're not a socialist country, okay? If it takes 60 votes to do something in the Senate, we've been able to stop a lot of very bad things because the Democrats controlled the Congress between 1932 and 1994. The Republicans only won the House and Senate twice in 62 years.
Right.
Twice in 62 years. Now, since 1994, which just happened to be the year when 96% of Republicans signed the Taxpayer Protection Pledge. That's the pledge that elected officials sign that says, I will vote against any and all efforts to raise taxes. Or governors, I will veto any tax increase that's ever sent to me. Many state legislators take the pledge as well. But at the national level, 96%. And since then, the vast majority of Republicans have not only taken the pledge, but they've all kept it. Okay, remember Bush broke the pledge and lost the presidency? Mm-hmm. No one's life is a complete waste. Some people serve as bad examples. And he reminded all the other Republicans, don't do what I did. That's not good.
Yeah.
And the Republicans have never allowed a tax cut to pass as long as they ran Congress. And since 94, because they're the party that won't raise taxes, they have won Congress 18 years, the Democrats 6. And then there's 6 that were split. 18, 3 times as often, as opposed to 62 years where Republicans only won Congress twice. So as the party that won't raise taxes, they have become the superior dominant party over time. But there is this very understandable fear that when Obama came in, he had the House and Senate for 2 years. When Biden came in, he had the House and Senate for 2 years. But there was a limit to the damage they could do because of the filibuster. That said, the SAVE Act is so very important. That also would change elections. And it's my hope that we get certainly all the red and purple states to get their equivalent at the state level of the SAVE Act done. And we're getting many, many states to get this done. But we have a lot of work to do. We need honest elections where people bring IDs. Every country in Europe requires an ID. But the left to say that this is outrageous or different or weird or never been done before is just silly. It's dishonest.
Yeah, as far as the earned income tax credit, how much higher is that this year than it has been in the past?
Oh, for heaven's sakes, I'm not exactly sure on that. I've been focusing on the per child tax credit and the higher level of the standard deduction. I'll get that for you, though.
Okay, and how much is your kid worth to you now? I mean, if you have teenagers, you've thought about killing them, but you haven't yet. How much are they worth to you?
Well, as long as they're dependent, it's 2,000. I think it was 1,000. Then it went to 2,000 under the under the first Trump bill, and I think we added about $300 to that in addition. So they're valuable, and you can put money into a Trump account for every child under 18. And people need to focus on this. A lot of times people go, well, I understand the government will put $1,000 check in when your child is born last year and the next 3 years. Okay, so for a 4-year period, if you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 children, don't try and claim 6, during that 4-year period, you get $1,000 per kid when they're born. But more important than that is you can put up to $5,000 per child into an account every year until they're 18. And if you have a job with an employer, if you're not self-employed, your employer can put money into that account the way they'd pay for free parking or healthcare or retirement. Okay, so it can be a benefit that your company puts in, and a lot of companies have started announcing we are doing exactly that. In addition to that, foundations like the Dell couple, Dell Computer, they said they're putting, I think, $6.8 billion into 24 million different accounts for basically poor, lower income kids who might not get an account started, so that they'll have that started. And can you imagine what changes when every 10-year-old and 15-year-olds at school going, you know how much money I've saved? And the stocks went up, and they'll know more about stocks than a lot of 40-year-olds do now.
No, that's good. I've always said I wish that I had a lot of the different ways that you can save in the stock market, and you can invest your money back when I was young that the young have today, because I wouldn't need Social Security.
Oh, for heaven's sake, people are putting more resources. 63% of Americans have money in the stock market directly, an IRA, a 401k, not just life insurance, yes, but that's not, it's not quite the same thing. Where when the stock market goes up, you are a richer person. That's 60+% of the American people. It used to be 10% when John Kennedy was president. Okay, we have democratized savings in the stock market. About 60+% have houses, 60+% are in the stock market. Those aren't the same people. That's a lot of saving going on, and we need to protect those people against Biden's inflation and against the kind of taxes that the extreme left and the Democratic Party have been pushing.
I got 3 minutes left with you. What do you want to leave my listener with thinking about today?
Well, in Arkansas, as in 11 other states, there is a move to phase the income tax down to zero. And your governor and your Republican legislatures have been cutting taxes every chance they've got under Sanders' governorship, and good tax cuts. And there's an interest in the legislature to move to a single rate, flat rate tax. There are today in the United States 16 states that have single rate taxes. Okay, everybody pays 2% or 3% or some number. Once you get to a single rate tax, you take envy off the table, and you can move to take the income tax all the way down. There are 11 states where the governor and the legislature have all said, we are going to zero. That is our policy. That's what we're doing. In Mississippi, Oklahoma, West Virginia, and Kentucky, they passed a law that will trigger, as revenue comes in, they don't spend it all. They take some of it and permanently cut the income tax, so that over the next 10, 15 years, they can phase the income tax down to zero, not with cutting and slashing government expenditures, just having it grow slowly, not out of control. And you're looking at Missouri. The governor up there is committed to go to zero. His legislature is going to put a measure on the ballot. They're going to be unveiling this in the next bit. I'm coming down to Arkansas to work with you guys on this as you look forward, because the number of states that have moved. South Carolina, within the next month, the Senate will pass the bill that the House has passed and that the governor supports to phase the income tax down to zero over time. So we got a lot of states moving to zero. Arkansas, Louisiana, the governor and the legislature have moved their rate down to 3% flat and then phasing to zero. Mississippi to 4% flat. They're phasing to zero. Oklahoma's on track to zero. Kansas, not quite next door, but spells like Arkansas. They're going to 4% and then on to zero. You guys aren't, I'm looking at the map here. You guys almost touched little attempted kiss there in the corner, but you don't quite make it. And with Missouri as well. So, and Tennessee, of course, at zero income tax. So the Southeast, Texas to Florida and north up to Oklahoma, Missouri, Kentucky, West Virginia are all going to be at zero in the next 15 years. Can you imagine the great sucking sound is not going to be, it's not Mexico. Right. It's this region as people move jobs and investment and people in.
All right. Well, we'll see you in a few weeks, Grover, when you're here in Arkansas. Thanks for joining us today. Time for us to get to the news. We're going to do that. And Grover Norquist here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Thanks, Dave.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump covered a lot of ground during a marathon State of the Union speech last night, focusing on the economy, the border, a strong military, and a crackdown on crime. It was an upbeat speech delivered even as the president traded barbs with congressional Democrats. Standing firm on Iran, Mr. Trump is insisting he will never allow the Islamic Republic to get nuclear weapons. Saying he prefers a diplomatic solution, he warns that he will not shy away from the use of force should diplomacy fall short. Today's show co-host Savannah Guthrie says that she and her siblings now offering a $1 million reward for information leading to the return of their mother. It's been 3 weeks since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie went missing from her Tucson home. Stocks opening higher this morning on Wall Street. More details at srnnews.com.
There, Chris, and as you know, Israel is a hot discussion point right now. I just talked about it on a panel at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. There's so many opinions and emotions surrounding the subject. And the Bible tells us, of course, I will bless those who bless you. That's not just a comforting promise. It's a clear calling from God. And today, with anti-Semitism rising around the world, the calling is more urgent than ever. At a time when Jewish communities are experiencing more hostility, more threats, more violence than ever, Christians have a real opportunity, a powerful opportunity, to respond with God's love, to say, you're not alone. When Christians choose to bless Israel, you're not entering into a political issue. You're honoring the roots of our faith and standing against hatred. Supporting Israel is more than just a belief. It's a biblical mandate. Partnering with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, you can push back against darkness and be a light to God's people. Go to ifcj.org to learn more. That's ifcj.org. Live the word, answer the call.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We should see some periods of sunshine today, but mainly cloudy overall. High of 70. Clouds again tonight and 54. And then a cloudy day tomorrow and a high of only 67.
This is an urgent announcement for anyone that's $10,000 or more in debt. Before you make another minimum payment, you need to know there are special programs that can completely free you of your debt. Total Financial Freedom can help you become debt-free in months instead of years. Resolve your credit card debt, signature loans, department store cards, internet loans, and timeshares. Call now at 800-533-6605 for a free consultation. For 17 years, Total Financial Freedom has helped thousands get out of debt. debt. You can feel confident when calling because Total Financial Freedom is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and a Christian-owned company. Don't get stuck in the endless cycle of payments. You have the right to get your debt resolved and substantially reduce your monthly payments. Call Christian-owned Total Financial Freedom now at 800-533-6605. That's 800-533-6605. 800-533-6605.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
If things don't change, can you imagine America in 20 years? Scary thought, isn't it? The good news is we have the power to take our nation back. Stay right here for all the information you need. 101.1, The Answer. Dave Ellswick is the conservative voice of Arkansas, and he's back. 101.1, The Answer.
There's a story today that I've pulled down that I want to talk about, and it's a perfect example of why blue states suck so badly. All right, because, well, here, let me just share this story with you. You give credit to a sheriff in California for speaking up. The California Parole Board granted parole to David Allen Funston, a serial child molester who used candy and toys to lure children 7 years old and younger. He was convicted of 16 counts of kidnapping and child molestation. Multiple young children were victimized, some as young as 4 years old. He was sentenced to more than 20 years in prison. Only 20 years in prison, okay? They should have, because they don't have the death penalty, they should have put him in a cell and thrown away the key. But 20 years, along with 3 additional consecutive sentences of 25 years to life. So those were running consecutively with his other sentencing. A judge described him as the, quote, monster parents fear the most, unquote. Yet, yesterday, the parole board in Sacramento has determined he is suitable for release. The sheriff spoke briefly about the case, and he said, "You don't rehabilitate individuals like that. They have an appetite for what they are doing. They want to do it, and that's troubling right now. I've been doing this job for 33 years. 34 years I've served in the legislature, and it is mind-boggling that folks that purport to want to protect women and children and put their interests First, don't do a damn thing. Representative Kevin Kiley, Republican from California, said, a serial child molester is set to go free thanks to California's reckless criminal laws. I voted against the expansion of this program, allowing early release for even the most vile offenders. There was broad bipartisan opposition, but Newsom signed the bill anyway. Okay.
Imagine that.
So this is why Gavin Newsom will never be president. I'm just telling you, he's got too many skeletons in the in his closet, and the Republicans are going to remind people about it all the time. And when you have a parole board, and we're all talking here about how surprised we were that no Democrats stood up last night during the president's State of the Union. You're not hearing any Democrats talk out against this judge letting this monster out to go out and to do his molestation of children as young as 4 years old. I mean, we hear those stories ever so often here in the state of Arkansas. I remember it must have been now 6 or 7 years ago. There was a guy that was sent to prison. I forget how long they sent him, but he had molested a 8-month-old, I'm going to repeat it again, an 8-month-old little girl. It's Who
even looks at an 8-month-old child and says, "Ooh, I want to get with that"?
I agree with.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it is, and I am firmly believe that they should never walk amongst the people of Arkansas. If you can't give them the death penalty, then may I highly recommend that you lock them up, because you cannot change the spots on a cat.
You castrate it
just like them, but you'd have to cut their fingers off. You have to cut the tongue off. And, with these guys, you'd have to cut their toes off and everything else, because whatever they got that they could use to penetrate the child, they would use it for that. I've told you during the whole time that I have been here in Arkansas as a talk show host that I have no sympathy, empathy, or feel any kind of mercy for a child molester. I agree with Christ that he says, when you do this kind of stuff to children, it's like you put a millstone around your neck.
Like they're helpless.
I mean, these people should not walk under the blue sky God made.
Did you see where Life Touch, several schools have distanced themselves from Life Touch? The people who take those photographs?
Yeah.
Because they're in the Epstein files.
How about that?
Mm-hmm. Some schools in Arkansas severed ties with Life Touch. It was reported on some local news. Life Touch released a statement in response to the controversy, saying they do not had and have never shared images with a third party or had any connection with Epstein. Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Anyway, again, I will tell people, when you read the files, if you can get through them, I'm just telling you, some of the stuff that you're reading is not true.
Well, this Life Touch had a parent company's former owner was linked to convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Leon Black is the former CEO of Apollo Global Management, the investment group that owns Life Touch, a company specializing in taking school photos for yearbooks. Black retired from the company in 2021 after intense public scrutiny over his alleged connections to Jeffrey Epstein.
So they did what they were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm not going to hold them responsible. People hide the god ugly things that they do sometimes better than you'd ever believe that they did.
Yeah, they weren't involved in any criminal activities and in the files. It's just that CEO or the owner, but again, he retired. So
yeah, he's not the owner any longer. Mm-mm. All right. Something to keep in mind. All right. I wanted to talk about that because how can you feel confident about what your government is going to do to protect you when you've got people on a parole board that you are letting somebody like this out to walk amongst people again? I highly recommend that the politicians there in California get switch out the parole board. Anybody who voted yay on this, get rid of them. Be done with them. They don't deserve to be in the parole board dealing with
like
these
they're
people.
There to protect these people.
Supposedly.
To protect the molesters.
Well,
it's what it seems like.
Well,
not the people.
That's what a lot of them do. Maybe they partake as well. Who knows? Okay, so we've begun to take a look at the state of California on fraud, waste, and abuse. They're going to go in and kind of do a Doge thing with them. And they've only just begun, and a closer level of scrutiny of California corruption is underway. The former head of a San Francisco homelessness services nonprofit, who has been accused of misappropriating more than $1.2 million in public funds, was charged Monday with 9 felonies. Gwendolyn Westbrook, 71, former CEO of the United Council of Human Services, faces charges that include misappropriation of public funds, grand theft, and filing 4 years of false tax returns. Westbrook's arrest caps years of scrutiny of UCHS. A 2022 audit by the City Comptroller's Office revealed widespread issues at UCHS. Following that report, Ben Rosenfield, the comptroller of the time, and City Attorney David Chu sent a letter to the FBI and DA's office requesting a criminal investigation into the organization. Gwendolyn West, and this is a quote now, Gwendolyn Westbrook enriched herself, misappropriated millions of dollars in public funding meant to benefit the community. That's according to Chu. Quote, we are grateful to the district attorney, accepted our referral, and the white-collar crime division conducted a thorough investigation leading to these charges. So that's just scratching the surface.
Oh, there's
they figures there's billions, approaching $1 trillion of wasted government money in the state of California.
Well, here's just one right here. So they've also depleted their UI trust fund, which is the unemployment insurance. The unemployment trust fund holds state collected payroll taxes used strictly to pay the state's portion of unemployment benefits. California currently carries $21 billion in borrowed funds from the federal government to keep the state unemployment system afloat. The Labor Department previously announced that because of this continued debt, California employers are now subject to increased UI taxes. But the California State Auditor also identified the state's UI program as a high risk, that inadequate internal controls failed to prevent suspected fraud during 2020 and 2021, allowing the payment of more than $30 billion in potential fraudulent claims.
That's what I'm talking about.
$30 billion.
That's in one program.
Yeah.
One program.
The unemployment program. So the Department of Labor is probing that program right now. And that's crazy.
And that's money that is taken out of the bank for the various businesses in the state of California. We'll keep an eye on this. This is why Gavin Newsom should never, ever become president of the United States. And then they
spent $24 billion on homelessness over 5 years with little accountability and like The new federal task force is investigating potential misuse in that. A $50 million homelessness funding scheme was recently highlighted in Los Angeles. So
and
that's another.
It just keeps on going.
Healthcare fraud, considered a hotbed for fraud, is Medi-Cal. Hospice. With around 42 hospices in a small area raising concerns, investigations have uncovered millions in fraudulent billing for non-existent services.
No oversight.
Nope.
If there's no oversight, if the cat's away, the mice will play. It's just, it's sorry to say,
there's
it's
more.
just the way people are. What else you got for me?
Federal officials implemented screening for California Community College after $13 million was stolen through ghost student applications. A California state auditor report found $5 million in wasted taxpayer dollars, including $4.6 million at the EDD for unused cell phones. The Small Business Administration suspended numerous contractors following investigations to do fraudulent, according to a Facebook post by Fox News. And HHS funding freeze. The Department of Health and Human Services has frozen federal funds over alleged fraud in state programs. And there's tons more. State officials have defended their efforts, noting that the California Attorney General has recovered nearly $2.7 billion in fraudulent funds over the last 10 years. But you let it happen.
Yeah.
And that's literally probably 1% of what's been taken.
No, it's going to be incredible when the dam finally breaks, because there are news reporters that are doing a good job of digging this stuff up now.
You know who's running for mayor? Spencer, what is that? What was that? Heidi Montag and Spencer. I can't remember his name now.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about, though. He's running for mayor, and man, that kid, he's a grown man now, and he's to me, he's going to win. And that gives me hope for Hollywood too, because he's got a lot of Hollywood folks on his side too. They're saying Bass was ridiculous. Like the whole fire thing is just that's what drove him. That's what drove him.
Yes, I know.
Yep.
Remember when the fires happened out there in
Spencer
LA?
Pratt, sorry.
When they were out there with those fires, and it started to come out that the reservoirs were empty of water. That was Newsom's job. And
they were empty.
He let them go dry
for months.
Yeah, he let them go during fire season.
Yeah,
and let them go dry. There's a lot that needs to be shook out about that.
I feel like that was done on purpose so they could have the land.
And that we're going to find out.
For their smart city.
Are people going to go and buy? Is the city going to buy, or is the state going to buy that land as it becomes available? We'll keep an eye out on that as well. 8:50, time to get a break in, and then we'll be back to finish up this 9 o'clock. Or is it 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock?
It's 8 o'clock.
It's an 8 o'clock hour here. I hadn't looked at the clock.
I know, right?
On the Dave Ellswick Show.
This radio station is always on, but sometimes you need more content that you can take with you anywhere. That's why we invented the SalemPodcastNetwork.com. You'll find all the great hosts on this radio station, plus a few more, like Charlie Kirk, Dinesh D'Souza, Trish Regan, Jenna Ellis, and Dennis and Julie. There's literally no end to what we can teach you. It's like radio on demand, and just like radio, it's always on. Go find out what you're missing. Download the app, SalemPodcastNetwork.com. 101.1. The Answer. Don't miss cutting-edge coverage of daily news on the Alex Marlow Podcast.
For so many years, we thought we would see terror. Is it a Muslim? Now we're starting to think, is it a trans person? And we've indulged all of this. It's completely our fault, self-inflicted wound. We've run so hard away from the science and towards insanity. They'll never stop. They will never be done. They will always try to take more. They will always try to create more chaos.
Subscribe to the Alex Marlow Podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
Concerned about market risk? I'm Ference Toth, host of the Your Personal Bank Show. The S&P 500 valuations are higher than at any time ever recorded in stock market history. This includes 1929 and 1999. Annuities and Your Personal Bank offer unlimited upside with no downside risk. Tune in to the Your Personal Bank Show Saturdays at 1 p.m. or contact Ference at yourpersonalbank.com. The Your Personal Bank Show Saturdays at 1 p.m. on 101.1 The Answer.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied customers. Here's what a satisfied client recently said.
Open enrollment is going great. We're hitting record numbers. Thank you so much for this report. It really is amazing to see how the marketing is really shaping our enrollment around the city.
If you're a local business and ready for the next step, Google Salem Surround Little Rock right now. Our experts are ready to help you take your marketing to the next level. Google Salem Surround Little Rock today.
The Secular Crew sees some big talk.
Iran negotiations, which are currently underway. At the same time, President Trump has made some pretty bold statements. So has the Ayatollah. This is a statement that came from the Ayatollah. It said the U.S. president says their army is the world's strongest, but the strongest army in the world can sometimes be slapped so hard it cannot get up.
Secular, afternoons at 3 on 101.1. The Answer. Now, back to the Dave Ellswick Show, 101.1, The Answer.
8:53 on a Wednesday. It's hump day, middle of the week day, over the hill day. We're closer to Friday than we were on Monday. That, of course, is a good thing. It looks like it's going to be a pretty nice weekend this weekend. Next weekend is not going to be. It's going to be rainy. We're going to start seeing those March showers that are going to happen, and then turn into April showers that turn into May flowers. That's exactly right. So anyway, and it looks like that March is going to come in like a lamb. Let's keep our fingers crossed that it does not go out like a lion, because this is when, the tornadic weather starts showing up around this area. We'd rather not have to deal with that if possible, but I'm sure we'll deal with some of it. It's going to come. All right, I'm taking a look. There was another story that I had that I was stunned by as I read it, and stunned just as much as I was about the people that are doing the homelessness cheating as well. And we covered this yesterday with John Lott. It's a big story now all across the nation.
Yep.
And that's about transgender shooters.
Yep.
Attacks by transgender shooters was, quote, at least 12 times their share of the population. That in 2024, according to Breitbart News. Transgender individuals commit disproportionate shares of mass public and active shooting attacks. That's from the Crime Prevention Research Center. That's John Lott.
Yep.
The CPRC studied data from just 2018 to 2024, finding that attacks by transgender shooters was, quote, at least 12 times their share of the population in 2024. They noted that the data has been studied by others who failed to reach similar conclusions because they did not, quote, adjust for transgendered individuals as their share of the population. The study does not claim causation, but documents the statistical anomaly. The left has largely ignored the study.
I wonder if I gave him a hint to do that.
Of course,
because he follows my page.
Yeah. Of course, the left does that.
Yeah.
They ignore it.
Oh, well, that's what I was arguing with them about on the post that I made before. It was the day before he posted his little graph or whatever. But I don't know. They probably were doing that study a long time before that. But I posted it on my page. Yeah. And people, the left they were like, oh, it's not trans. I was like, for the amount of people that are trans in this country compared to the amount of people that are not, and then compare the amount of people that are the trans people that are doing the shootings, it's per capita. I guess not per capita, but whatever the word is for that. But that's a problem. If you only have 0.05% of people in a population, and yet 1.5% of those people are the ones, 1.5% of the shooters are those people, then that's an issue.
Well, yeah, it's a disproportionate number.
Right. But they're still arguing it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
They're going
But again, my take on that whole thing is that
they love those people, man. They love guys taking trophies away from girls and women's sports and stuff.
It's ridiculous.
I'm
the party of women, though, right?
Yeah, I'm wondering if when the next Democrat is elected president, and I hope that I'm not alive when that happens. What will happen is that they'll just they'll pepper trans individuals in the State of the Union.
You know what I hope? I hope that they would just come to some common sense and get all of these people out of their ear about the trans, about the illegals.
Have nothing to do with
here's
common
the deal,
sense.
though, Dave. Why on earth? So if you look at TV and all the shows and stuff, every daggum show has a gay theme in it, right?
I was watching Star Trek School Academy or whatever it is, the new one about looking at the people who want to be part of, the
Starfleet,
the Federation
Academy,
and stuff. And they got a guy that plays a Klingon. And last night, I just noticed it. He was holding hands with another guy.
Okay, that is not the majority of everyday Americans' lives. You have rural America out here. They ain't never seen a gay person. If they do, there's maybe one in their town.
And they've definitely never seen two men holding hands.
But 0.05% of Americans, yet it's saturated. It's saturated in movies, in Hollywood, in television.
That's the way they want
it. Exactly.
The way they want it. They're boiling people like the frog in the proverbial hot pot of water.
But you don't see them saturating disabled Americans or the deaf or the blind.
About families that are traditional families that are doing well.
Exactly.
All right. Nope, they're Norman Learizing the United States. We'll take a break. News is next on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Find us at 1011fmtheanswer.com. Download our apps, stream us 24/7, or watch us at snc.tv. KDXE, Kamek Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rick Thomason. President Trump covered a lot of ground during a marathon State of the Union speech last night.
Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before.
It was an upbeat address delivered even as Mr. Trump sparred with congressional Democrats.
The president declared that the union is strong and is winning under his leadership.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
There were feel-good patriotic moments featuring the Olympic champion U.S. men's hockey team and medals presented to military members and veterans. But there was also heckling and the president snapping at Democrats.
These people are crazy.
The immigration crackdown, spending cuts, and voter ID were other issues highlighted during the speech. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Mr. Trump insists he will never allow Iran to get a nuclear weapon, saying he prefers a diplomatic solution. The president warns he will not shy away from the use of force should diplomacy fall short. The president's speech was one for the record books, ran just shy of 2 hours. Today's show co-host Savannah Guthrie says she and her siblings are now offering a $1 million reward for information leading to the return of their mother. It's been 3 weeks since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie went missing from her Tucson home. Just as the region recovers from this week's blizzard, parts of the Northeast got a bit more snow overnight. The National Weather Service saying anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow is expected. On Wall Street this morning, stocks are higher. The Dow is up about 128 points. The Nasdaq ahead 275, and the S&P trading 42 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is YouTube. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
Indian Prime Minister Modi is visiting Israel for a couple of days, a trip expected to focus on strengthening security, economic, and technological cooperation between the two countries. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says two leaders are personal friends who have forged a strong alliance. Netanyahu says Modi will address Israel's parliament and will visit Israel's Holocaust Memorial. Modi became India's first prime minister to visit Israel back in 2017, and 9 years later, making his second trip. Japan says Iran has been holding a Japanese citizen in Tehran since January, and it's demanding the person's speedy release. Foreign ministry officials say the detainee is believed to be in good health, although Japanese officials have not been granted a meeting in person. The ministry declines comment when or what charges the detainee is facing. About 200 Japanese nationals are currently in Iran. News and analysis, townhall.com. Conservationists in New Zealand have been fighting for years to keep the kakapo from going extinct. What is a kakapo? Well, it's the world's only flightless parrot, and efforts to save it may be paying off.
Now they're hoping for a record number of chicks in February after a bumper crop of rimu berries sparked rare mating activity. Over 3 decades, the number of kakapo have risen from about 50 to more than 200. Kakapo live on 3 remote predator-free islands. Each bird gets a name, a tracker, and managed matches to protect genetic diversity. Keith Peters reporting.
Legislation requiring all aircraft flying around busy airports to have key locator systems to prevent mid-air collisions has failed to win approval in the House. The National Transportation Safety Board has recommended such a system since back in 2008. More on these stories at townhall.com.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We should see some periods of sunshine today, but mainly cloudy overall. High of 70. Clouds again tonight and 54. And then a cloudy day tomorrow and a high of only 67.
There's a real battle going on, not only for our future, but that of our children and grandchildren. How do we ensure they have it better than we do? One way is to keep listening to us. We're your information source in the battle. 101.1 The Answer.
All right, let's get back to the show here on the Dave Ellswick Show. Coming up at 10 o'clock, I'll let you know here in an hour, we'll have the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra on with us. Talk to them about what's coming up for their new season. But I really want to talk about, they've got coming up in March, they're going to have a full choir and the orchestra going together and playing the Carmina Burana. And I'm looking forward to it. I am definitely going to see that one. I'm going to be spending a lot of time over there at the new staged area there. I next week I go see MJ. Go and check that out. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. And then I think it's the week after that ASO is doing the Carmina Burana. A lot of you probably don't realize what I'm talking about as far as that piece of music goes, but I guarantee you've heard it either in a commercial or in a movie, especially the opening to the piece called O Fortuna. You've heard that. It's typically sang in Latin, so it's not going to be on like the top 100. It's not going to be there for that. I'm kind of interested when they come on today. I want to find out how big the choir is going to be. And if they did what Carl Olaf did when he first started producing it, Orloff was ahead of his time. He liked to integrate theatrics along with the great music of the symphonies as well. So he had dancers out on stage and all kinds of stuff. So I want to talk to them about, is that what we're going to be watching on the stages of the Robinson here in the next area? I'm looking it up here. That's what I'm getting to. Carmina Burana here. And I'll play the opening for you that'll help you understand what it is that I'm talking about. What is he talking about? What's Dave doing it about it? Here's a beer ad. I should play that used the Carmina Burana as well, and it's Carlton Draught. They're the ones that it's an Italian beer, and let me see if I can find it. I'm going to have to play through another ad before. Here it is. Now, don't lie. You've heard this before. Picks up.
It's in a lot of commercials.
Oh, yeah. The great commercial. It's got all these people dressed up in red and yellow outfits, and the red outfits form a guy, and the yellow ones form a glass that looks like beer, and he's drinking it. It's pretty good. I like that. Anyway, they're going to be doing the Carmina Burana, so that's one of my favorite classical pieces. I've never seen it been performed live, though. I sang it when I was in high school. It was a big deal that our choir director had us.
See Dave up there singing in the choir.
And I know that's hard to believe. I'm the guy that I was in the choir. I played football, basketball, and baseball.
You were an well-rounded All-American.
I was a universal guy. I was kind of like Jefferson. You know, if I had to pick a founding father that I probably lean more towards, it would have been Thomas Jefferson. And that's what he was. You know, he was a great farmer, and he was a whole lot of other things, bees and all kinds of stuff. His house, if you've never been to Monticello, you should make a trip one time during summertime and visit it. And he's got all kinds of inventions that was way ahead of the time with him. And very cool seeing the things that he did and developed. And he's the one that brought to the United States from Italy macaroni and cheese.
Ah.
Yeah, he served that at one of his state dinners. It was the only thing that they had to eat at the state dinner was mac and cheese. That's kind of cool. I had a person tell me one time that macaroni and cheese was the meal of 4 people. And I said, well, I can't argue totally with that because I ate a lot of mac and cheese when I was a kid. But the bottom line was just that it's just good. I think of it more as comfort food than I do of poor people food.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I mean, you could throw hot dogs in it. You can throw in some sausage in it. You can put some vegetables if you want in it. You can do all kinds of things with mac and cheese. But anyway, bottom line, that's a long way from the Carmina Burana, but that's what we're going to talk about in the last hour. Plus, I don't know what they're going to be doing. They're going to have a movie night with the ASO. I think they're going to do. They're taking 3 movies and playing the music from them It looks like it's going to be pretty good. Now, I don't know if they're actually going to play clips from the movies or not. We'll find that out together today. But yeah, I'm all about it. I don't think people realize how lucky they are, Val, to have the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra
here in the Capitol.
They're really good.
And they're really professional. It's not like you're going and listening to a high school band. I mean,
no.
It's like going to any other place, like it's the symphony. Like I used to go to the Symphony Orchestra all the time at the Fox Theater in St. Louis, and it was amazing. And when you go here to Robinson, it's just as amazing.
Well, I love the symphony. I love to go hear it. There's a difference between listening to it on a record and or online or whatever, or being there in person.
I like to sit and close my eyes. I'm a weirdo. I sit and and it is so relaxing. It really is. I could literally fall asleep during some of those presentations.
Yeah, I love.
It's so beautiful.
I love when they get the like the string quartets out and things of that nature, and play Mendelssohn or somebody like that a lot of people haven't heard of.
It's so crazy because I love metal, but I love
speed metal
orchestra. Me too, because I'm ADHD. And do you know, I literally would listen to Mozart and all the classics
while I
studied. Yes, because there's no words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you can't, when there's words to music, and then it would tune my kids out because I was going to school. And I made straight A's in college. And, it's crazy. Change the subject real quick because I have a Democratic liberal professor, Mr. Jack Ziblick at ASU.
Uh-huh.
And recently he was commenting on somebody's page, and I guess he didn't think that I would see it. Somebody that had posted something about me being a pundit, a liberal, talking about whatever. And this professor that I had for
talks about how great you were.
It was for creating corporate videos, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't for news reporting or any of those things. He said I was a horrible student. I called him out on it. I was like, are you kidding me?
You gave me A's.
I literally got A's in all my classes.
What subject did he teach?
This was published, it was internet. We were making a training video.
Oh, okay.
Like a video game kind of stuff. It wasn't even that's not my forte anyway. If I did, I made a B in it. If I made anything, I did the work. But every other class, like mass communications, I made a 98. That's a class that you have to pass in order to get your degree in communications and for broadcasting. I made a 98 in that class, and everyone was in the room studying for the final because a lot of them had taken the class twice.
Oh, really?
And Dr. Mary Jackson Pitts at ASU, she was one of the best teachers I've ever had. And, I did studies and research papers on the lottery and just how do teachers have the ability to just lie like that? I mean, I just wanted to go get my transcripts and be like, liar.
Well, she was a liberal.
He's
a liberal. He was a liberal.
Yes, I called him out on it, and he didn't say anything else.
Yeah, I got you.
It's sickening.
Yeah, he probably went back and checked his grade book and said, oops.
Well, that was 2004.
They don't care. They'll go back as far as they can in your closet to get something they can go into.
That just shows to me that they will just say whatever to make someone look bad. I literally made A's. And if anything in that class, I might have made a B. I made a B in biology because I wasn't, and algebra. I hated algebra. I hated that stuff. But in my classes for what I do.
Make up your mind. Is it a letter or is it a number? That's what I always thought about algebra.
I didn't understand algebra even in high school until I started making money and shopping. What is 25% of $9.99?
Yeah, I
what I mean, kids don't either. They don't either. Did you see also? And we got time to talk about this, but did you see where the D.C. Circuit Court issued their ruling in the case against the Treasury and they literally said that it was Centrino de Trabajadores Unidos versus the U.S. Secretary or Treasury Secretary yesterday. So there's a case challenging actions taken by the Department of the Treasury. The D.C. Circuit is one of the most powerful federal appellate courts in the country and often handling major administration and regulatory disputes involving federal agencies.
That's the one that Kavanaugh came from.
Right. But the ruling, it came from the lower federal district court. It doesn't get resolved, but the appellate court affirmed, which is upheld, reversed. Let's see, what does it say? The appellate court either affirmed, upheld, reversed, or remanded the case for further proceedings. The decision now becomes binding precedent within the D.C. Circuit unless overturned by the Supreme Court. So basically, it paves the way for Trump to continue to use the IRS for immigration enforcement, but it doesn't give you can't give financial information. You can only give address.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it literally is rejecting the injunction that was put on it because the groups were unlikely to succeed on the merits of their legal claims. The D.C. Circuit panel agreed with the district court that the statutory provision at issue clearly authorizes the IRS to disclose certain non-tax return information, including address, upon valid request. Because the address are not classified as taxpayer return information under the statute, the court found that sharing them under the agreement did not violate the law. Importantly, the ruling was limited to the primary injunction posture, meaning the court evaluated whether the plaintiffs were likely to win at trial if the case continued. The court did not rule finally on the full merits of every legal claim, nor did it resolve the entire lawsuit permanently. The plaintiffs may still press their case as it proceeds to the processing. But in short, they allow the IRS, DHS, ICE data sharing agreement to remain in effect for now. And
that's good.
I mean, that's hello. That's your tax return is not protected information, is it? I mean, your address.
No, not the address or whatever. I think that's public information.
Yeah, your financial information might be.
Well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Because I am not, given the authority to go into your bank account.
Right.
And look at how much money you got.
But you can find my address online.
Yeah. That's a public piece of information.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. All right, we got to get a break in. Let's do that. 20 minutes after 9, then we're back and we'll finish up this half hour of the 9 o'clock hour of the Dave Ellswick Show.
But then we came back home, and after a few days, we found bed bugs or hitchhikers. We're pretty sure they joined us during our travels. That's not the souvenir we wanted, but thanks to the bug man, we're better now. We just wish we'd called them sooner because, unfortunately, they had spread from room to room.
Call the Bugman at 663-9464 or go to bugman.com and check out their coupons. No contracts required. The Bugman has been serving our community for 45 years. Call 663-9464.
Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Brani. Appointed to the court by Governor Sarah Sanders, Justice Brani believes in the rule of law and the Constitution, and his conservative record proves it. He has protected religious liberty, the Second Amendment, and girls' sports. He also upheld Arkansas's voter ID law. He does not legislate from the bench. He only interprets the law. Call Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Brani and thank him for defending our Constitution. Paid for by New Generation, Inc.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine, if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But, try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We should see some periods of sunshine today, but mainly cloudy overall. High of 70. Clouds again tonight and 54. And then a cloudy day tomorrow and a high of only 67.
The Dave Ellswick Show is back. 101.1. The Answer.
I want to talk a little bit about something with the men's Olympic gold medal team. And why has the left attacked them? I mean, because they went out and USA and all
because
that.
Cash Patel was in there with them, and they put a gold medal on him. That's why
They went crazy. Well, the U.S. men's hockey team hasn't made the critics happy. For a brief moment on Sunday, America was united after the final Olympic hockey showdown between the United States and Canada. And by the way, when the United States beat Russia in the semifinals back in the 80s and then won the gold medal, it wasn't Canada that they defeated that year. It was Finland. All right. I went and looked that up because I didn't think it was right. People were saying, yeah, twice in a row. No. We beat Finland 4-2 in that Olympics. So it goes into overtime. They score a overtime goal, U.S. did, and they won the game. Americans watched with glee as the USA team beat out our northern neighbors at their own game. Forward Jack Hughes, who sacrificed at least half a month or half a tooth for the win, flashed us an iconic bloody smile, and people across the nation celebrated yet another Olympic gold. We were number 2 in medals at the Winter Olympics this year. Then in less time than it probably took for Hughes to call his dentist, the unity shattered. While the team celebrated in the locker room, President Trump called to congratulate the players on their win and invite them to last night's State of the Union address. Then Trump, being Trump, made a joke. Quote, I must tell you, we're going to have to bring the women's team. You do know that, he said. If he didn't invite the team, he said, I do believe I probably would be impeached.
What's wrong with that?
Well, not about he has to bring the women's team.
What's wrong with that? They couldn't, and everyone's like, oh, they refused. No, they had a scheduling conflict.
Yeah. A video of the call went viral, and commentators grew gravely indignant on behalf of the women's gold medal winning team. But instead of criticizing Trump, the persons who actually made the curlish remark went after the players. The USA men's hockey team utterly failed to meet the cultural moment. Now, that sounds like a lefty to me. A cultural moment.
I mean, I'm just so sick of the left.
The U.S. men's Olympic team won gold and then lost the room, whined a columnist at the New York Times. Incredibly, Vox released a list of the winners and losers of the Olympics, fawning over Elaine Gu, an American who chose to represent Communist China, as a winner and declaring the U.S. men's hockey team a loser. Various internet onlookers demanded that the team do better and apologize for laughing. Perhaps the funniest development was the solemn response of Twitter fan page Daily Jack Hughes, which posted, Hi, honestly, I am unsure of what to do with this account right now. I will figure it out eventually, but there will be no daily content happening. Linked below are some important resources. Lastly, ICE and this administration never stopped supporting women. These critics' demands were many. The team must explicitly denounce Trump and his administration, refuse his invitation to the State of the Union, which they did not, like the women's hockey team did, apparently for scheduling conflicts, personally apologize for Trump's joke, and probably invent a time machine and smash the cell phone Trump called them on. All right.
Spare me your outrage. You don't even know what a woman is.
Yeah.
Like, you people have lost your minds. You people were okay with the Olympic boxing, a woman getting beat the crap out of by a man. You literally supported that. Spare me the outrage. You are not the party of women. It's disgusting that you even try to pander to that.
So no matter that the players have been supportive of the women's hockey team, on Sunday Hughes said the first person he thought of after scoring the winning goal was Megan Keller, who had just clinched the win for the U.S. women's team. Even in video, one player can be heard chanting 2 for 2 in honor of both teams' wins. Hughes, for his part, has responded to the controversy like a champ. Quote, "They've got busy schedules too," unquote, he said, of the women's team in response to criticism of their declining the White House invitation. Everyone is giving us backlash for all the social media stuff today. This, he suggested, is a non-controversy. Quote, "People are so negative out there, and they are just trying to find a reason to put people down and make something out of almost nothing, mountains out of molehills." That's typical lefty things. Hughes' his mother, a former hockey player herself, also refused to take the bait. Quote, "These players, both the men and women, can bring so much unity to a group and to a country," she said. It's not really worth arguing over to what degree Trump's joke was in poor taste. The U.S. men's team could have immediately embarked on the cable news apology circuit and made a fat donation to Now, and it still wouldn't have been good enough. Short of a posting Luigi Mangione fan fiction, there is no way for them to redeem themselves in the eyes of progressives for whom everything always is political. Of course, there were no such controversies when former President Joe Biden hosted Olympians in 2024 and 2022. For all of our faults, we conservatives tend not to compare our presidents to Nazis and demand that athletes and celebrities refrain from fraternizing with them. Not so for our counterparts across the aisle. To the legacy media and to some keyboard warriors on Twitter, there is no such thing as neutrality. Quote, "This is in a neutral climate," wrote the New York Times columnist in his criticism of the men's hockey team. "This is in a neutral president." But the president is never neutral. He has always represented a particular party with its own ambitions that might be served by latching on to the good. All right.
Like, it's so, and we got to get to the news.
Yeah, we need to pick up on the news.
Whoopsie.
Here's the news.
In Tucson. The Dow is up 74 points. NASDAQ ahead 243. This is SRN News.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-94-BIBLE. That's 844-94-BIBLE. 844-94-BIBLE.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, When you put your name on the dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Concerned about market risk? I'm Ference Toth, host of the Your Personal Bank Show. The S&P 500 valuations are higher than at any time ever recorded in stock market history. This includes 1929 and 1999. Annuities and Your Personal Bank offer unlimited upside with no downside risk. Tune in to the Your Personal Bank Show Saturdays at 1 p.m. or contact Ference at yourpersonalbank.com. The Your Personal Bank Show Saturdays at 1 p.m. on 101.1 The Answer.
America is at a tipping point. To ensure we stay the land of the free and home of the brave, you need to be informed and engaged. That's why we're here. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. The conservative voice of Arkansas, The Dave Ellswick Show on 101.1 The Answer.
All right, so let's go back and let me finish up on this article written by Madeline Schultz from the Daily Wire. And so she was talking about the left and how they can't just find it within themselves to applaud the men's team.
And they need to grow up.
You know, as far as that's concerned. So to the legacy media and some keyboard warriors on Twitter, there is no such things as neutrality, said one keyboard warrior with the New York Times. This isn't a neutral climate, unquote. And then another who said in his column, said, quote, this isn't a neutral president, unquote. So the president is never neutral, all right? He has always represented a particular party with its own ambitions that might be served by latching on to the good publicity of an Olympic win. What has changed is that certain figures in the media have decided that you're only allowed to engage with one side, the, quote, good, unquote, side, which is therefore neutral. The best you can hope for as a public figure is for no one to ask you about politics. That game isn't as simple as hockey. If the mob comes for you, there is no way to win, especially in the media, because the media is left. They have been left for a long time. They continue to be left. I liked this that was appointed in the column under the article. Our president was divinely appointed. If you agree with that, then it is understandable that all that is evil will attack him. The two things we can do is pray for him, his family, and his advisors, and never let our voices go silent. Let all your plans and purposes for our president be accomplished as written. Let those who have set aside and set snares against him and those around him be caught in their own traps. President Trump was placed in office for just such a time as this. But it's amazing to me that people today cannot be happy for a group of guys that won a gold medal, and they were excited because they were wearing the colors of their country.
Disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting behavior. Like they need to, like I said, they need to grow up. They need to stop being immature. I hate that Trump derangement syndrome. I hate that phrase, but in this case, it's true. You literally were fine. You were so excited like when we won. Like you were literally out there with your excitement. And then you found out that they support the White House and the president. And they literally were hanging out with Patel.
And like a wolf, they turned on him.
Exactly. And that is so immature. So immature. And then now they're reporting saying the women's team, they declined. They declined because they have other scheduling conflicts.
Yeah, even the several players on the men's team said, hey, cut them some slack. They got busy lives like we do.
Yeah, they're not declining. They even said thank you for the invitation. Like we can't make it. And everyone's like, oh well. It's just disgusting. I am so tired of hearing lies from the left, and not only that, there's just it goes back to COVID. And I want to say this because did you see the lies they told about COVID, like bodies were stacking up, just lies to scare people. But did you see, Dave, what happened? Was it yesterday? The news came out where a group of 56 U.S. Coast Guard members who were discharged after refusing to receive the COVID vaccine got reinstated.
Well, good.
And back pay.
And that's even better because they should have.
Like
they didn't do anything wrong.
No, they didn't want to get a mandated vaccine. Like I am so over the left. Like I can't believe that they're still even in office. They're still allowed to be in office after what they've done to this country. Like it's disgusting. And then you got the Democratic governor from Virginia on this response last night to their speech or to the State of the Union, and she's like lying. Every word that come out of her mouth was like, and it's making Trump isn't protecting Americans. He's making life harder on you with tariffs. Are you forgetting the last 4 years under Biden is the reason we have high cost of anything? It's literally been stable under Trump. Nothing's gone up. In fact, things are going down. They're starting to come back down. But where were you guys the last 4 years when Biden had inflation every year? It was 25%, 25%, 25%.
Man, that's partisanship. I'm used to it.
But it's straight lies.
Yeah, but
it's beyond partisanship when you're complete
you get upset with me because I don't get upset sometimes. This is what I expect of the left.
I expect that too, but what really, really ticks me off is that these people buy it.
Oh,
and they believe it
when they go to the polls. Yeah, they do. They buy it. They swallow it hook, line, and sinker.
It's disgusting to me. Like I said, my friend talking about, well, I thought I was going to have to change my birth certificate name. I'm like, when would you ever be asked to change the name on your birth certificate? And people are so dumb.
It was the Democrats that were asking for the policy to be made that you could go in and change your birth certificate if you were born male and you identified as female to be able to make it a female.
They passed that under Biden. And you can also put on your birth certificate 2 females are your parents. How stupid! That literally makes no sense at all.
I know that, but here's the key. How, it's just the way that the left works. Whatever the left says that is wrong, they're doing. That's the key.
Do you know how many
they
nurses
project all the time
and hospital workers we lost because of this stupid 2021 mandate of COVID? Do you know how many? We were already in a nursing shortage. Do you know how many people just walked away from their jobs?
Yes, and no more.
And didn't come back? And now this is, do you know the Arkansas Heart Hospital here?
Yeah.
Last winter, they had wings shut down because they didn't have enough staff. I don't know if it's still the same, but I was there with a friend's aunt and my friend of mine's aunt, close friend, and half the wing of the hospital was shut down because they didn't have enough staff. That's 2025, people. And that's all because of Biden and the Democrats and their mandate to get a vaccine, which we now know is horrible for you.
Well, same thing where, when they passed a law saying that if doctors own a hospital, they could only build so many beds, and then it was frozen at that. Even if they were doing better than every hospital in the area, they couldn't make themselves bigger. They could only go to a certain, and I don't. There's a certain bed.
Is that a competition
I don't know
thing?
what it is. They can't compete with the big hospitals because they don't have the beds.
Well, the big hospitals don't have the staff.
And Blanche Lincoln was one of them who was. That
was years ago.
Keep that from happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened years ago. It's been going on a long time. That's my point.
Yeah, it's a competition clause or something like that. And it's really quite disturbing, though, when you go into the heart hospital and one of their wings is shut down, and you ask them why, and they say because we don't have enough staff. And that was after COVID. You know what I mean? Like that was last winter.
All right. Well, Leaf Lemieux wrote a column today, said the title of it is How Do You Not Stand? The Jaw-Dropping Moments Democrats Remain Seated at the State of the Union. And it says Trump repeatedly clashed with Democrats last night in the chamber. Congressional Democrats refused to stand during the president Tuesday night State of the Union address when he asked lawmakers to show support for prioritizing American citizens over illegal immigrants. We've already talked about that a couple of times this morning. I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle, Trump said. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens. Republican lawmakers stood while Democrats remained seated. Said the president, isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up, Trump said. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protest the criminals or protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. That moment was one of several throughout the night when Trump confronted Democrat lawmakers for refusing to stand. Later during his speech, Trump introduced Sage Blair, a Virginia teen who was taken from her parents after they declined to support her assertion of a male gender identity. According to a counselor's testimony, Blair ultimately returned to her parents following a lengthy legal battle. Surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who can believe that we're even talking about it? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately, Trump said. The line drew, of course, applause from Republicans while Democrats sat on their hands. Quote, look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. At another point in the address, Trump spoke about the murder of 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee Irina Zaska, who was stabbed to death on a bus in Charlotte, North Carolina. We all remember that video. The man accused in the killing has an extensive criminal record. Democrats remained seated when Trump introduced that young woman's mother, Anna, and vowed to get justice for her daughter. Ma'am, tonight I promise you that we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina, Trump said, earning support from Republican lawmakers. How do you not stand? Trump asked, gesturing toward the Democratic side of the chamber. Democrats also remained seated as Trump highlighted his administration's border security efforts and record stock market gains in the last year. Trump's address broke the record for the longest State of the Union address in history, but the Democrats never stood.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It just says here, Mr. Bean,
Mr.
who
Bean,
added his thoughts to this, said, I think the left represents their base accurately. No Democrat in the country would view secure borders as a good thing. They don't support citizens, and they're not giving a hoot about any victims. Yeah, that's what's going on. Unbelievable.
It's gross. It's the display is just literally makes me want to puke at these people. My blood pressure is so high.
We'll see what's going. We're going to see what's going on here. As far go ahead and answer the phone, and if they're on point, then ask them to join us today. That would be all right with me. I have no problem. It's about 9:48. We're going to get a caller on here in a minute, I think. If not, then we'll go to break and then come back and finish up the show. But we'll have the ASO on, Arkansas Symphony Orchestra, on in the last hour. I look forward to talking to them. Again, they're doing the Carmina Burana, and that's going to be cool that they do that. Like I said, I've heard it a million times. I sang it in high school. I just know that I've never heard it done professionally live before, and I want to be able to do that. Well, let's go ahead and get our break. We got a break that we got to get to. Let's do that here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We should see some periods of sunshine today, but mainly cloudy overall. High of 70. Clouds again tonight and 54. And then a cloudy day tomorrow and a high of only 67.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
We bring you the biggest news stories of the day. Not to tell you what to think, but to allow you to have the most information so you can make up your mind. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. The Dave Ellswick Show continues now. 101.1 The Answer.
Okay, so we were wondering earlier in the show what it was Talib was chanting in the House when the House broke into a spontaneous USA cheer. She was cheering KKK.
That woman doesn't even know what the KKK is, and that her party the party of the Democrats are the ones that started the KKK. Like, they're literally the ones that voted against getting rid of slavery. Like, these people, see, that's the problem. These immigrants that come over here legally and then run for office, they don't understand our history. They could read it. Well, she could read our history. We got plenty of history books.
Neither does any Democrat.
Right. Well, that's true.
They will not take credit for starting the Civil War, and they did.
But just sheer fact, that's embarrassing. That's like totally embarrassing that she would even do that. Like, how? And then, the other one with the hijab or whatever she wears on her head.
Yeah, Omar
chanting, "You murdered Americans." It's not murder when you get involved in something you shouldn't be involved in.
When you try to hit an ICE officer with a car,
yeah,
and when you're before what you did got you shot, and you were throwing rocks at police officers,
right?
Look, I'm just going to be honest. Don't take a rock to a gunfight.
No,
you will lose.
I mean, you can't. If you're sitting there and you're keeping officers from leaving, and then more officers show up, and you decide you're going to get in your car and take off and try to hit one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yeah, that lady. Well, she's bona fidely nuts anyway. I mean, go back and look at how she's raised her kids and stuff. She's nuts.
She is crazy.
Anyway, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who urged Democrats to remain quiet or skip the State of the Union altogether, said this, quote, "The two options that are in front of us in our House, and to either attend with silent defiance or to not attend and send a message to Trump in that fashion, which will include participation in a variety of different alternative programming that is going to take place in and around the Capitol complex." That's what Jeffrey said last week. Dozens of Democrats boycotted the State of the Union, attended the alternative programming events, which were similar to political rallies where Democrats largely focused on bashing Trump's immigration policies and tariffs. Tlaib and Omar opted to attend Trump's speech and make a scene. Texas Democrat Al Green, who we talked about already, made a similar decision and was booted from the chamber after holding up a large sign that read, "Black people aren't apes," a reference to a video that was shared by President Trump on Truth Social that briefly depicted former President Obama and First Lady Obama as gorillas. It was the second year in a row that Green was escorted out of the chamber. During his address, Trump ripped Democrats multiple times, including calling them crazy for refusing to stand in support of protecting children from life-altering gender procedures. Quote, "Who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this?" Trump asked. "But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' wishes. Who would believe that we're even talking about? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately." All right. So anyway, there's where we're at right now in our country. That pretty much sums it all up. The Democrats are the protest party. That's all they know how to do. When they had the majority, that's all they knew what to do, was to protest.
Like, if you don't know what your duty is to your constituents and your country, then you don't need to be in there. You need to be. They need to be removed from office. Well, I'm sick of it.
Tlaib said that I guess the Americans there in Minnesota are not her constituents.
Right.
Her constituents are Somalis.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I'm sorry. It doesn't. No, that was not Tlaib. That was
Omar.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's disgusting that these people are even like, that's treason.
I mean,
that's treason.
They're one and the same. Omar.
Yeah. I mean, they sit together. They you notice what you don't see is AOC next to him anymore.
Yeah. Well, she wants to run for president.
Oh, yeah. Of course she did. She's an idiot. Oh. Like, how long has Taiwan been separate from China? Long enough for her to figure out what kind of response she should give.
I would think so. And you should know a little bit of the history of Chiang Kai-shek and of course Mao to understand why it formed in the first place. All right, we're going to go and again get some news here in just a moment, and then after the news, the Arkansas Symphony is going to be with us here in studio. I'm looking forward to that, to talking to them, to find out what else they have coming up this season besides the Carmina Burana. That's on its way here on the Dave Ellswick Show. 101.1 FM, The Answer.
This is the Dave Ellswick Show. Find him on Twitter and on Facebook at Dave Ellswick Show.
Dave Ellswick Show. Find us at 1011FM, theanswer.com. Download our apps, stream us 24/7, or watch us at snc.tv. KDXE, Kamek Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Notable for its length, President Trump's epic State of the Union speech last night ran almost 2 hours, a record. Declaring the State of the Union strong, Mr. Trump doubled down on his tariff and immigration policy.
Just days after the Supreme Court struck down his global tariffs, the president said he will continue with tariffs through other regulations, and that the tariffs will
substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax.
With justices sitting a few feet away, he described their ruling as unfortunate. The president also defended his administration's efforts to deport undocumented immigrants, and he announced Vice President Vance will lead a new effort called the War on Fraud. Greg Clugston, Washington.
And there were some patriotic feel-good moments with the Olympic champion U.S. men's hockey team on hand and medals presented to military members and veterans. Democrat response to the president's address.
Americans deserve to know that their leaders are focused on addressing the problems that keep them up at night.
Virginia's newly elected Governor Abigail Spanberger asking, is the president working to make life more affordable for you, your family? Democrats, not the only ones reacting to the speech.
I think it was a good night for the president. It was certainly a celebration of all that is good for America and what America has meant. I thought it was a great night for the president.
Emily Research Council President Tony Perkins giving President Trump high marks for his address. Adding insult to injury in the Northeast. Bit more snow fell across parts of the region overnight, generally 1 to 3 inches on top of all that snow the blizzard left behind earlier this week. Watching Wall Street, stocks are higher. The Dow is trading up about 104 points. The NASDAQ ahead 221 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. A lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Defense Secretary Hegseth is threatening Anthropic with the loss of a lucrative Pentagon contract if it denies the military broader access to its artificial intelligence technology.
Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei believes the more capable and autonomous AI becomes, the greater the potential for its misuse. He's repeatedly called for its regulation, and the company's focus has been on developing systems that won't cause harm. Anthropic was awarded a $200 million national security contract last July, but tensions have arisen over its refusal to lift restrictions, preventing its technology from being used to carry out domestic surveillance or to target weapons on the battlefield.
The BBC's David Willis. Visiting China, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz calling for deepening ties between Germany and China while pushing for fairer trade rules. News and analysis, townhall.com. Facebook owner Meta Platforms about to make a big investment in AI hardware.
Meta says it will buy artificial intelligence chips from Advanced Micro Devices. The deal also gives Meta the opportunity to buy an up to 10% stake in the company. Meta will buy AMD's latest chips, the MI450, to help power data centers. AI build-outs are quantified in terms of gigawatts, the focus being on how much energy the hardware involved can consume, the new standard for high-level computation. The Meta-AMD deal could be worth up to $100 billion. Bob Agnew reporting.
The American consumer's confidence in the U.S. economy has improved a slight bit this month after plunging in January. The Conference Board says its closely watched consumer confidence index rose to 91.2 in February, that from an upwardly revised reading of 89 last month. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Israel, a hot topic right now. Hi, it's Chris Stegall. So many opinions around Israel, emotions. I can understand why it feels hard to know where to start. I like to start with the Bible. Scripture tells us, I will bless those who bless you. And that's not just a comforting promise. It's a clear calling from God. So today, with anti-Semitism on the rise, that calling is more urgent than ever. At a time when Jewish communities are experiencing more hostility, more threats, and more violence than ever, Christians have a powerful opportunity to respond with God's love, to say, you're not alone. When Christians choose to bless Israel, we're not entering into some political issue. We're honoring the root of our faith and standing against hatred. Supporting Israel is more than a belief. It's a biblical mandate. And by partnering with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, you can push back against the darkness and be a light to God's people. Learn how you can bless Israel at ifcj.org. Live the word. Answer the call. ifcj.org.
Never fails. I took a bite of donut. Time to talk.
I could have gave you an extra minute. Sorry, I didn't see you chewing over there.
I'm all right.
Dave, you ain't supposed to have those donuts anyway.
I can eat a couple fat nuts.
Look, y'all, I went into the kitchen to get some coffee, and I saw the donuts, and I was going to hide them from Dave. And he got in there before I could hide them.
If donuts are available, I'm going to eat one of them at least. And I did. And I'm finishing up one. But anyway, we're waiting for a phone call. Evidently, they can't make it into the studio. We'll be talking to the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra about their upcoming new season. They're going to kind of finish off the season this next week. No, not next week. Week after next, with the Carmina Burana, which is a huge, huge production. So I want to find out how many singers they're going to have, and they're going to have the whole orchestra there. I'm going to go see it. I'm looking forward to it. As you can probably tell, I'm really looking forward to it. I've never heard it live, and it's got these movements where you got, I don't know how many voice choir they're going to have, but you got the whole choir singing, and at the same time you got the orchestra just getting into it. And it really is going to be an impressive thing going on. So we'll get the Arkansas Symphony on here in a few moments. They got I think they have a guest soprano coming in to sing with them, and so we'll want to find out about that as well. So there's some good things coming up as far as the symphony's coming up in 2 weeks. Next week, on Wednesday, the 4th of March, I will be over at Johnson's Performing Arts Center to see MJ, but about Michael Jackson. So anyway, we got people calling them saying, "Where are you at?" All you got to do, you want to do it by phone, all you got to do is pick up the phone and punch in the numbers. And we'll be happy to talk to you. Because anybody who's listening to this show knows I support the arts, and I like to support. I used to support the Rep. Is the Rep even open anymore? Are they still open?
The Rep?
The Rep, yeah.
I don't know.
They do stage plays and stuff. Do they?
I don't know.
Do this anymore? I mean, they had financial problems a few years ago, and I thought I had read that they were trying to get them fixed, and I thought they had, but I don't know. Maybe they haven't, and I don't know if they're open anymore or not. That used to be a great place to go to see some theater, and I haven't been there in a long time, so I don't know if you can't go there anymore or not. So if you don't, give us a call at 501-401-1011. That's the number here. That's all you got to do. I keep getting a spam caller from Jessieville. They call me at this time about every day. Then they'll call me again around 2 to 2:45, and then they'll call me again at some time around 5:15 to 5:50. And I've asked them not to call. I've done it very nicely. I said, I'm not interested. And they just keep calling. And maybe I need to turn them over to the AG's office. I don't know. And just quit hassling me on the phone. And I'd be really appreciative of that if you would not call me here all the frickin' time. It drives me crazy as far as that's concerned. All right. So do you like going to stage plays and stuff, Al? Yeah, turn your mic on.
Shoot, I'm sorry.
There you go.
I thought it was on. I love them. Like it was been about 10 years ago, and you got tickets to see Spam-A-Lot, and you couldn't go, and you were so disappointed, and you gave them to me.
Yeah.
I love Monty Python and I was like so excited, and I went. It was the funniest thing I ever seen. It was hilarious.
Okay.
I love. I don't like the opera ones. You know, the one I don't like musicals. I'm not a musical person.
I like
plays.
musicals.
I do like opera, though. I do like opera. I don't mean that. I mean, I don't like the singing ones. Like, kind of just not my thing.
Okay, I got a new one for you. Oh, you don't like Gilbert O'Sullivan? You don't care for that?
I didn't see that.
Well, they wrote a lot of different plays, Pirates of Penzance and other things like that.
Like I'm talking about like Oklahoma and stuff like that. Like
you don't like that?
I didn't like it.
No, I like it.
I like to hear. I don't want you singing what you're. I just. Was that we saw at the Rip when that I don't know. Maybe it is at the Rip. I can't remember what they were. I think it was Pirates of the Caribbean.
It used to be a great place to go and see plays. I mean, it really was good. A lot of people don't realize this, but there are actors, they don't make it in Hollywood or whatever, and they do small productions all over the United States all the time. Yes, they are. They're good.
They're just as good.
They're very good. So anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't care for musicals too much.
Are you ready for this one?
Go for it.
Early polls, according to CNN chief data analyst Harry Eaton, have not been kind to the twice-failed candidate Kamala Harris. Former Vice President Harris hinted on Tuesday at a possible return to the presidential campaign trail in 2028, saying that she might throw her hat into what's likely to be a crowded Democratic primary ring. Harris spoke with podcast host and author Sharon McMahon and was asked point blank whether she planned, after bowing out of the 2020 primary before the first vote and then losing in spectacular fashion in 2024, to run for president a third time. Will you run again? McMahon asked. I haven't decided, Harris replied. You're still thinking about it, McMahon added. I might, Harris said, her voice creeping up an octave as she shrugged. McMahon said she expected no less, adding, that's what I've been saying. That's what I'm like. I closed the book and I'm like, oh, she wants to, and she's just thinking about it. Early polls, according to CNN chief data analyst Harry Eaton, have not been kind to Harris, though. He told host John Berman that Harris polls at just 18%, and that's second to Governor Newsom, and was in a precarious position if she intended to drop in on a primary, the Democratic primary. In addition to Newsom, former Transportation Secretary Pete, I won't say what I usually say, Pete Buttigieg, and Representative Alexander Ocasio-Cortez are polling at 13 and 12% respectively. Quite a weak number for Harris, given that, of course, she was the nominee last time around, Inman said, adding, this is just a total clown car.
It is.
This is somebody who loves the Democrats. This is a total clown car. It is a total mess. There is no clear front runner at this particular point on the Democratic side. Who the heck knows who the nominee is going to be in 2 years? He also suggested that flagging interest in Newsom, despite his new memoir just hitting bookstores, meant that even the likely favorite was flailing a bit. Newsom, during a recent interview, spoke with CNN anchor Dana Bash. Wow, yeah, Bash the Republicans, just what Dana Bash stands for, about the upcoming presidential election cycle and how he might handle it if his career path ended up on a collision course with that of his old friend. That's, fate will determine that, Newsom shrugged. And I've never gotten in the way of her ambition, ever. I haven't. And I don't imagine I would in the future, but I don't. But if you run against each other for president, Bash, try it again. That's fate. That's fate, Newsom said again. But during another recent interview, the California governor took a swipe at Harris, attributed her rapid rise in the California political world to her romantic relationship within San Francisco Mayor. What a great name for this guy, Willie Brown, because he thought with his Willie and he led with his Willie. I'm just letting you know, talking about Brown. For those that don't know Willie Brown, you wouldn't know Kamala Harris without Willie Brown, Newsom said during a recent book event. So she was lying on her back.
She was arm candy on his back, or I mean, on his back, on her back,
not on his arm. She was candy for him in bed. I mean, that's well known. Okay, we're waiting on the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra. Somebody just called in. I'm hoping it's them calling in. It is them? Oh, okay, so that's the maestro. All right, cool. Hey, Jeff, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I've been talking about that you guys were going to do the Carmina Burana. I'm excited.
Me too. It's going to be a lot of people on stage, a lot of energy, fun music. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah. What day are you guys performing that?
So it's this Saturday night, 7:30, and then Sunday afternoon again at 3.
All right. I got to get tickets then. I'm coming. So how many voice choirs do you have for this?
We have a combined choir. The adult choir is 183 voices at last count, and that includes the Arkansas Chamber Singers and the UCA concert choir and the UALR concert choir.
Yeah,
and then we also have a children's choir. The debut performance of the new ASO children's choir. About 50 kids will be singing the children's choir part.
Cool. That's going to be very cool. Now, are you doing like what the Olaf did when he performed it? Do you have dancers that are coming out and all that?
We do not have dancers coming out. We're focusing just on the music and the drama this time. I don't know, honestly, it's as full as the stage could possibly be with this many folks in the choir, and so this will be a concert performance, but it's going to knock the roof off.
Yeah, because Carl Olaf, I mean, when he would perform it, he was one of those guys that liked to have theatrics and music and he'd fire off fireworks and all kinds of stuff during the presentation. So, but I'll hand it. I love this piece of music. When I was in high school, it's not a typical piece of music you hear a high school choir do, but I had an exceptional choir instructor, and we did it. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to sit out in the audience and listen to it live, because I've never been at a live performance of it.
Oh, that's amazing! Yeah, I'm so glad you're going to be there, and that's incredible by your high school choir as well, because it's a challenge. It's a big thing for the choir and big feature, and they're up there pouring their hearts into it. It's going to be, like I said, a lot of fun.
Now, a lot of the music, a lot of the lyrical content of the Carmina Burana deals with German drinking songs, doesn't it?
That is definitely one of the main segments of the piece. So these were the words, the texts are actually the Carmina Burana itself is a set of songs and poems that were written during the Middle Ages, and so the subjects of them are all sorts of human foibles and blessings, from love and drinking too much and just all the various aspects of humanity. And it's kind of remarkable that to think I read these, I'm like, wow, the human kind of condition is such is something that is shared across centuries and centuries, and that gives extra power to it to me. I find it really interesting.
I never knew what I was singing when I sang the Carmina Burana, because we sang it in Latin, so I didn't have a clue.
I'd give it a light PG rating. Yeah, but it's in Latin, so
Yeah. Most people aren't going to understand it, but I bet you when everybody sits down there at the Robinson and you open up with O Fortuna, of course. Everybody knows that piece of music. It's used in movies. It's used in commercials. It's used a lot.
Yeah, this is one of those pieces of music where even if you're not familiar with the title, you have no idea what you're going to walk into. 3 seconds into the concert, you're going to be, rocking your head because you're like, oh, I know this. And this is like one of the, most kind of powerful pieces of music and orchestral music ever written. So absolutely.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really happy that you all are doing it. You're to be commended that you're going to do it, because even for professionals, it's a challenging piece of music.
It is. And, honestly, this is the first like large scale choral, like choir and orchestra concert that we've had on this series since COVID started. So, and kind of took that away. And then there was, it was a surge. And now finally, I'm in my 3rd year now as music director, and it's taken until now to really feel like a huge choir and to do all of this. And so I'm really excited. We have a big choir in our holiday concert every year. And we had a short choral feature in our Midsummer Night's Dream we did last spring, but this is the first full choral concert that I've been able to do as music director. So I'm psyched.
All right. Well, in your future, let me say that the Messiah would be something of fun to listen to live.
Absolutely. I was just having a conversation with one of my choir directors yesterday that I would love to do, the Messiah or Haydn's the Creation. One of the a great sacred work is definitely on the table for something I want to do before too long at all.
That would be fun. That would really be fun. I've got to sneak in a break here. Stick around with me. Do I have you for the hour?
Yeah, I can stick around a bit. Yeah.
Okay, because I want to talk about what you got planned for the next season. You unveiled it yesterday. I'll let you unveil it here on my show as well, on the Dave Ellswick Show. 24 minutes after 10. We didn't get the other break in yet. Yeah. Okay, so let's get that in, and then we'll get back to the Maestro in a moment on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Snow, ice, and power outages. Central Arkansas just got another reminder that winter doesn't play around. Northside Power keeps homes running with Cummins home standby generators. Northside Power is Central Arkansas's largest supplier and the #1 provider in sales and service. Their systems automatically restore power in seconds. And with Northside's monitoring technology, you'll know your generator is ready before the next storm hits. Generators isn't something we do, it's all we do.
Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Bronny. Appointed to the court by Governor Sarah Sanders, Justice Bronny believes in the rule of law and the Constitution, and his conservative record proves it. He has protected religious liberty, the Second Amendment, and girls' sports. He also upheld Arkansas's voter ID law. He does not legislate from the bench. He only interprets the law. Call Arkansas Supreme Court Justice Nick Bronny and thank him for defending our Constitution. Paid for by New Generation, Inc.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on the dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
You can watch the show right now. The Dave Ellswick Show is streaming live on Facebook. This is 101.1 The Answer.
All right, let's get back talking a little bit more before we get to the news. So that gives us about 2.5 minutes. What's coming up in the new season this year, Maestro?
Yeah, so we announced starting next fall, 26-27 season yesterday, and we're going to kick off the season in the beginning of October with a concert of all American music for our America 250 tribute, and we're going to play the Third Symphony of Aaron Copland, which is like a classic Americana sounds and really just one of the greatest works of orchestral American music, and there will be themes in there that are familiar to a lot of folks as well. The Fanfare for the Common Man is wrapped into that symphony, and it's just a marvelous piece of music. And then Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, and also a work by Arkansas's famous hometown composer Florence Price. And so that's going to be a really fantastic way to open the season. Beethoven and Blue Jeans will be back, where the orchestra dresses down, and we're actually going to have putting on a new piece that we commissioned that features 6 members of the orchestra as soloists. So you'll get to see some of the people who sit at the back of the orchestra right up front soloing with us, which is going to be really neat. We are bringing back our Halloween show in October that will kick off our Pops series. And that's a big kind of involving a lot of members of the community. And there's going to be dancers and acts and lots of visual performances on that too, costume parade, and a lot of good film music. And that Halloween show is going to be a lot of fun. Holiday show, of course, featuring big choir and soloists, and our children's choir will be back on that. And in the new year, there's so much. It's one of the capstones at the end of the season. I've been working on this for a long time with my good friend Michael Fothergill at Ballet Arkansas. We're teaming up, and we're going to put on a staged The Rite of Spring, which is one of the big ballets from the early 20th century. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. That's going to be our season closer. I'm super psyched about that. We've been talking about how to make something like this happen for literally years. I got
to jump in here. I got to get to the news, and we'll be back after the news with the Maestro here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Boasted of economic strength and a tougher America, the Republican president will test drive that narrative on Friday when he pays a visit to Texas. Vice President Vance will hit the road first. He'll travel tomorrow to Wisconsin. Notable for its length, the president's State of the Union message ran almost 2 hours, and that is a record. And there were patriotic feel-good moments during the address, with the Olympic champion U.S. men's hockey team on hand, and medals were presented to military members and veterans. Adding insult to injury in the Northeast, a bit more snow fell across parts of the region overnight. Generally 1 to 3 inches on top of all that snow the blizzard left behind earlier in the week. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 141 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. A lot of us are thinking about taxes, home projects we've been putting off, ways to get ahead financially in 2026. Now's the perfect time to talk to my friends at Fellowship Home Loans. If you want to lower your mortgage payment, they can help you refinance. If you need access to cash for home improvements or to wipe out high-interest debt, their fixed-rate line of credit is one of the best tools out there. Fast approval, predictable rate, and flexibility to use your home's equity wisely. Remember, many people still qualify to skip their next 2 mortgage payments. Imagine starting big projects or paying down debt with 2 months of breathing room. My family and I have used Fellowship personally. I trust these guys. Take control of 2026. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G. fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE. That's 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
101.1 The Answer. Weather.
We should see some periods of sunshine today, but mainly cloudy overall. High of 70. Clouds again tonight and 54. And then a cloudy day tomorrow and a high of only 67.
This is Carol Platt-Liebel for townhall.com. Americans just got a revealing glimpse of what Democrats have in mind if they reclaim power. On a recent podcast, Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice warned big tech, law firms, media outlets, companies, and universities that Democrats won't forgive and forget those who cooperate with President Donald Trump. The left won't play by the old rules, she announced. How ironic. The same crowd that constantly calls Trump an authoritarian is now openly threatening political retribution. Rice's threats aren't hypothetical. During the Biden administration, federal officials strong-armed tech companies to suppress disfavored speech. J.P. Morgan has just admitted to debanking Trump and some supporters, hardly a coincidence in today's regulatory climate. Meanwhile, Rice's former boss, Barack Obama, speaks loftily about unity and coming together. Nice words, but Americans have seen too much to believe them.
Health insurance can be really confusing, but I know somebody who can help you. Tammy Chase owns an independent insurance agency in Maumelle, and she actually takes the time to sit down with you in person and explain everything in plain English. Tammy Chase handles it all. She works with multiple insurance companies, so you're not limited to just one option. Tammy Chase finds what works for your situation and budget. She can help you sign up for Medicaid, too. But here's what really sets Tammy Chase apart. She doesn't just sign you up and then disappear. Tammy and her team are there for you from start to finish. When enrollment periods come up, she helps you review and make changes, even with specialized plans like cancer, heart attack, and stroke coverage. If you're tired of feeling confused about insurance, visit TammyChaseInsurance.com. Trust me, having someone local who actually cares makes all the difference in the world. TammyChaseInsurance.com.
Hugh Hewitt sees us on the verge.
All of the bulletins coming from Israel are that they've gone into their defensive crouch. They've alerted everyone to be ready for conflict. We've got the biggest mass forces that we've had anywhere in the world since prior to the Iraq invasion in 2003. And it doesn't look like Iran wants to actually capitulate on the things it needs to capitulate on.
The Hugh Hewitt Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Secular at 3 on 101.1. The Answer. If things don't change, can you imagine America in 20 years? Scary thought, isn't it? The good news is we have the power to take our nation back. Stay right here for all the information you need. 101.1, The Answer. Dave Ellswick is the conservative voice of Arkansas, and he's back. 101.1, The Answer.
All right, back on the Dave Ellswick Show. We've got about 25 minutes left. We've got the maestro on from the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra, Jeffrey Robeson. He's with us 3 years now. You know, I remember when we had you on and you just got here.
Yeah, and I've had a variety of positions with the orchestra. I've been very fortunate to be able to kind of, become what I am as musician and conductor, working with this orchestra as an associate, as a violinist, and working with the youth orchestra, and being elevated to music director really was the honor of a lifetime.
So I understood there's going to be some soloists in with you for the Carmina Burana. Who's going to be here for that?
Yeah, so our soprano soloist is actually an Arkansas native that we've worked with a handful of times before, Keely Feuder, who is having a stellar rise to her career and doing great things. Is going to be our soprano soloist. Nicholas Simpson is our tenor. And he specializes the tenor aria in Carmina Burana is totally unique and outrageous, and it's very, very high, and not very many folks can sing it, but he specializes in this one, and Rolf Diaz is our baritone. All
right, so you got a guy who's ready to tear into one of the toughest pieces of music to sing as a tenor, huh?
All of them, yeah. And so that particular tenor aria, the song is told from the perspective of a swan who is being roasted for a dinner party. And so it's woe is me. I'm roasting on the spit. I used to, be this beautiful bird floating on the lake, and now I'm being served for dinner.
Yeah. The Carmina Burana is different. I want to warn everybody, but it is a great piece of music, and I'm really, again, I'm happy that you guys are doing it. How are ticket sales going for it?
Very strong. It's blown up the last couple of weeks. So certainly if you're trying to come Saturday night, I would give the box office a call today or go online and reserve it. If you're not sure where in the Robinson Center you might want to sit, I do recommend calling because our folks at our box office are fantastic and they'll take care of you and help you out and answer any questions you might have. If you haven't been down there before, well, ArkansasSymphony.org, you can book your tickets online.
All right. For Halloween, has anybody stepped up yet to say that they'll show the Phantom of the Opera if you guys will play the music to it?
That's a great question. You'll have to have me back on when we reveal the whole program and lineup for the Halloween. That'll be coming a little bit later this spring. So there's going to be a lot to it though, but I love your thinking and that idea.
Yeah, I got to see that.
Yes.
I saw the Chicago Symphony do that and it was amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're a crazy group. All right, so you're sounding like you got something for everybody. What's the show that's coming up that is featuring like 3 different movies that you all are going to be doing the film scores from?
So the live to film next season, we're going to be doing the original Lion King, the original Disney Lion King.
Okay.
And so that scores by Hans Zimmer and of course all the great songs. And so we think that's going to be a really wonderful kind of multi-generational opportunity, for kids and grown-ups and families to come alike. And it's a great score and of course classic film. So I'm really excited that we landed on that one. And so that's going to be for 3 nights in March of next season.
All right. So do the people in the orchestra, is it a visceral thing that you come out and start talking to them about what you guys want to do? And they say, dude, this is good stuff that you want to do.
I'm sensing a lot of excitement, and I have ongoing conversations with my colleagues in the orchestra all year, really. I try to keep a pretty, metaphorically open door, so people can come talk to me and people love sharing their ideas and a lot of, people have great ideas. The orchestra is a bunch of very experienced, very educated, very smart, very creative, professional musicians. And so there's, well worth listening to folks' ideas. And so I hear a lot of excitement though about next season and the Rite of Spring, some of the stuff we didn't even get to, Bartok Concerto for Orchestra, Brahms Violin Concerto, and the Copeland. A lot of people are excited about the Copeland, including myself. So.
Okay, as far as Copeland, Ship of Democracy part of that?
Say that one more time?
Is a Ship of Democracy part of Copeland?
That is not. It's the Copeland has Fanfare for the Common Man,
right, and Hold Down and all that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely kind of quintessential. Like the Copeland really defines kind of the Americana sound that got adapted into what film scores and westerns and it's something that we can all identify with and make us smile.
I agree. All right, I know you're busy. I'll let you go. I won't sit here and belabor what's going on. I wanted to pat you on the back and say thank you for doing the Carmina Burana. I'm looking forward to it. I'll probably be there Sunday afternoon to see the production then.
Well, excellent. That's fantastic. Glad you're going to catch it. Always a pleasure to catch up, and thanks for having me on. And we'll talk again soon, I hope.
We will. We will do that. Thank you very much and appreciate your time. All right, Jeffrey Robeson here on the Dave Ellswick Show from the Arkansas Symphony Orchestra. Make sure you get your tickets for the Carmina Burana. It sounds like they're getting close to being sold out for the Saturday.
You make me want to have a full weekend, too. I might go see a couple of... I just don't like musicals, and I'm not a Michael Jackson fan.
Yeah, I know you're not, but I'm looking forward. When you got to bring 8 semis in to do a stage play, it's going to be impressive. So I'm going to go see it. I'm looking forward to it. That's on, I think, Wednesday night. That's opening might next week.
But I might want to go to the symphony. I used to go, like I said, when I was I was communications chair for the Arkansas Symphony Guild when I was here before, and I used to love going.
Oh yeah,
to the symphony.
There's nothing like sitting in front of the symphony and listening to the play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just surrounds you with that. And I'm hoping that he wouldn't talk about Halloween because that's what they're going to do. I mean, I've seen that where they take. I
love their Halloween shows.
They take the old Lon Chaney silent film of Phantom of the Opera.
It's so cool.
And they show it up on the big screen, and then they play it. The symphony does the whole soundtrack to it, and hopefully they're able to mimic a pipe organ, because you got to have it. You got to have that pipe organ sound in that presentation. All right, it's 10:43. We'll go ahead and get our break in, and then we'll come back and wrap up this 10 o'clock hour for the Wednesday midday. Middle of the weekday, closer to Friday than we were on Monday. Show here on the Dave Ellswick Show.
Did you hear Congressman Bruce Westerman on the Dave Ellswick Show?
It's a whole different scenario when you're talking about Russia with the nuclear arsenal and the military that they have, but I think their economy's in shambles as well, especially since some of these European countries are trying to wean themselves off of Russian energy, and that's really where Russia generates most of their revenue. Now I believe they're redirecting that energy into China, and you're just seeing the world market in oil and gas shifting around from one place to the other. That's a lot easier to do with oil than it is with gas, because they've got all those gas pipelines going into Eastern Europe, and gas is much harder to transport if you're not going through the gas.
Don't miss Congressman Bruce Westerman, Wednesday mornings on 101.1 The Answer.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Now, back to the Dave Ellswick Show, 101.1 The Answer.
All right, so people are writing about what they thought of the State of the Union, and here is a great article from Doug Schoen, who looked at the State of the Union. He said, Trump gave a great performance Tuesday night. He achieved a number of important goals in his State of the Union address, but it is unclear whether he fundamentally changed the political dynamic in America. Still, it was a great performance with profound messages. Let's talk about that just a little bit. If what the president had to say, and he had to say a lot about what his administration has done in just over a year. I mean, to be honest, as I sit and watch it, the president has done a fantastic job with the United States. I knew it was going to take time to turn the ship of state around because Biden had gotten us so far off course and got us turned around and had screwed up the United States with his open border policies and his I'm going to embrace transgenderism policies from the White House. That there was a lot of work to be done. I mean, the first thing that the president did, and rightly the first thing, was getting the border under control. You had to get that under control to be able to do everything else that the president wants to do. And they've done that. I mean, look, they've shut the border down. There's the guys that are down there, the border people that are down there, they say there are days that they don't see hide nor hair of anybody trying to come across into the United States because they know they're going to be caught and they're going to be sent back. They're not going to be able to come in. It is not the way of the Biden administration where not only were you allowed to come in, but crap, they didn't keep track of who was coming in, who they were. Did they happen to have, ties to foreign nations like Chinese or Pakistanis or Indians or whatever? They didn't do any of that. They allowed us to be overrun. And that's why what the president is doing in getting the people who are criminals that came here illegally are good things to do for the United States. And the Democrats don't give a damn.
And this is a Democrat that responded to my post about how the Democratic response was not lies. I said it was lies.
Yeah.
She spoke the truth. You can easily fact check everything she said. You must be brainwashed to think she was lying. Okay.
That's a typical difference.
And prices are up, not down. You're a moron because where you shopping the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Prices under Trump have not gone up the last year. They've stayed where they were from Biden's 25% increase every year.
And has she filled up with gas lately?
She said, I grocery shop every week, and this is truth. I used to pay $8.99 for coffee at Sam's Club. That same coffee is now $22.99, and it's a direct result of tariffs. Now the tariffs have been ruled illegal. Do you think companies will lower prices? I highly doubt it. Okay, blame SCOTUS for that because they're the ones that just handed this over to businesses. Okay, this could have went towards the deficit and taken away from the amount of taxes that you pay. But no, instead it went to businesses' pockets. And then she said, I also forgot to mention Marco Rubio gave the Republican response in 2013. He delivered it in English and Spanish. Were you outraged? I said no, because he wasn't promoting ICE.
Yeah.
And he was speaking to legal immigrants.
Yeah.
Not pandering to illegals.
That's correct.
But I digress.
And that's what the Democrats do now. They pander to the criminal element that is coming into the country.
If you don't know the difference, you're liberal.
Well, it's true. If you're not up on what's going on, then that's because you haven't been paying attention.
Mm-mm.
All you got to do is pay attention, and you can see.
Man, if you want a good example, go over to my Facebook page because these Democrats over here are crazy. Like Trump said, they're all crazy.
You saw the stuff I brought from the border when I was down there broadcasting that the Quran and all the stuff. Oh, okay. When I went down and broadcasted
Feet to the fire thing,
this back in Bush's time when they were trying to get the border under control, and you couldn't do it Bush's way because Bush wanted to be nice about it. You can't be nice about this.
No.
Yeah, you were dealing with the cartels. You got to be ugly with the cartels, and I'm going to tell you what. I believe there's going to be plenty of more chances taken on the president's life before he finishes out his term, because it's going to be the cartels that want that man done. I mean, he's cutting into business for the cartels down in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
So be aware of that and be ready for that. And thank God that, if this president would happen to be assassinated, we have Vice President Vance that makes Kamala Harris look like just a DA.
I mean, I could not believe that woman wore a $300,000 necklace to the border. She never wore that necklace again after people got her.
Yeah,
that was a photo op.
Yeah, well, that's all it was for her.
That's it.
And
the only time she ever been there.
Because we were making known that the Bullard Czar, as she was called,
only been there one time.
Never had gone to the border, and then finally she succumbed to the pressure, and she went, and then she didn't even go out on the border. She went to a border station, and that's the only place she went. She didn't go out there to see what was going on.
No, she didn't. She went for a photo op.
She wasn't worried about it. She didn't care.
No.
Neither does the Democratic Party.
We don't have a problem with the border.
No,
we're safe.
That's what a lot of people.
Get out of here. That's why you heard 13-year-olds getting raped.
That's what
and left under
Democrats
bridges
say.
dead.
That's what Democrats say. I mean, it's bottom line. But anyway, when I was down on the border, and this was back in the early 2000s, during the Bush administration, I went with one of the sheriff groups there on the border, and they showed me all of the stuff. I mean, terrorist handbooks and all kinds of stuff that were being brought across at the border. And don't think that stopped back in 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, 20. It just stopped now. The sheriffs down on the Texas border, the Arizona border, the New Mexico border were all freaking out at the stuff from terrorists that were coming across our border. And those people are still here.
Yeah. They're just sitting waiting.
That's why, I did a little bit on that story a couple of days ago where they believe that perhaps Iran will try to get the jump on the United States and unleash some of these shadow groups that are in the United States against us.
And they're labeled as terrorists now.
Yeah, but the only way we can to deal with that is you're gonna if they happen, you're gonna have to shoot them down the streets. You'll have to kill them. That's exactly what's going to have to happen. So I hope and I believe with Patel and the FBI and some of the other folks that are at CIA and all of the.
Man, you ain't gonna have to worry about it. If that stuff comes up, Dave, Americans will handle it.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
We will handle it.
Well, I know you will. All right, you wouldn't have any problem at all. But there's a lot. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of Americans that talk tough.
Yeah, well, don't come to my house wanting to borrow my gun.
They don't have a clue. They don't have a clue.
Don't come over to our house expecting us to protect you.
I'll help my neighbors. Of course.
Survival of the fittest, Dave.
I'm the guy.
I got my own family to worry about.
I've got the guy who has the big sign in my front yard that says
my neighbors.
He believes in gun rights, and he got an arrow pointing at his house. But anyway,
he doesn't believe in gun rights.
Yeah.
He
does.
Rob him first.
He believes in gun control, and it's true about one of my neighbors. But the rest of my neighbors are like I am. They'll protect their property. They'll protect themselves and their families. You got to be ready to do that because
that's what it's going to take.
The police, the National Guard, or whomever comes, are days away from you.
Exactly.
They're not hours away.
We've seen in Katrina.
They're gonna come and they're gonna draw the chalk lines around the bodies.
Look at Katrina when all those deaths were happening. Where we couldn't get in there. What people we did get in there was taking care of what they could, but you were basically on your own.
And then when the police got in there, they were taking guns.
Yeah,
they were confiscating.
It's crazy.
And that's crazy. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I got a couple of shotguns. I got plenty of handguns. I got a long rifle as well, so I'll do okay. I'll do all right.
But people don't realize. To me, that's what it's going to take before people understand why we have the Second Amendment. Huh? It's going to take them having to fight for themselves against the people that the Democrats that they support, that they want to help take your gun rights away, have allowed these people to come across the border. So they want to take your guns, but then they leave you wide open to all these criminals and the scourge of the earth that all these other countries have sent across their border.
All right, I got to finish it up for today, Val. I'm
on my high horse today.
Watching
not a high horse. What do they call it
right now? You got your Apple card, your Apple crate out. You're standing.
I'm just aggravated.
You're preaching.
I'm just aggravated at these people.
Okay, so the bottom line is, here I'm really a danger. I'm former military and I'm armed at my house. Okay, do not screw with me. I have no compunction not to shoot you if you come in my door and you've not been invited. Just bottom line. And I've got a semi-automatic and I have a pump shotgun too. Both of them are 12 gauge. And then if they start coming across and if we start having problems, sawing off a barrel is not that hard.
Well, what people don't understand here in Arkansas is we're 2 states away?
Yeah.
Literally 2 states away.
We're still next door neighbors to the border.
Right.
Definitely. Everybody is. All right, let's take a break until tomorrow. We'll get it underway at 7 a.m. The Bumper to Bumper people will be here as usual. Then we got a lot of other guests that are going to be on tomorrow as well. I think John Bozeman's going to be stopping by. We'll talk to him. And we're going to talk to Kim Hammer tomorrow. We got a lot of people that are coming on the show tomorrow. I'll see you then on the radio.